to you. Back support. If you need it, you know it. Introducing CopperFit Back Pro for maximum lower back muscle support.
I played 20 years in the National Football League. No one took a beating like I did. As soon as I put on CopperFit, I could feel the support. This feels good.
Designed to provide everyday support and relief for lower back muscles.
I'll put it on and almost instantly it just makes it go away. It's like magic.
The support was amazing.
High-performance compression fabric infused with powerful odor-reducing comfort. Order right now, and your shipping is free.
If you want the power to stay active, then you want CopperFit.
Experience the power of CopperFit Back.
Start your day with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno, opening the window to your weather on AMHQ. Mornings on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back at Weather Center Live as we look in on St. Louis, where the clouds are starting to sort of thin out a bit. It was a little hazier earlier on the last check. Now the blue skies are showing up, but dry and mild. That is the story for you, but sort of on the up and down swings here in the temperature department in St. Louis over the next couple of days. Here's what it looks like for us. We'll look for 60s for today. Average high is right around 58 degrees or so, but look tomorrow, bit of a drop off. Then we're climbing as we head towards the end of the week. Friday's high temperature into the 70s, way above average, and then another cool down. So it's tough to get into the closets and dress when it's that up and down, but that's what you're going to be dealing with here over the next few days. Right now, a little chillier in the upper Midwest, 31 degrees in Minneapolis, 34 showing up in Des Moines, but then you really get into some of that milder air from Kansas City all the way towards Cleveland. We've got pretty much widespread 50s that are in place. Highs for the day will climb, get a couple more hours of maybe a bit of more warming, getting up to 53 in Chicago, near 60 in Indianapolis. I think you'll top that mark in Cincinnati, with Kansas City right around 61 degrees. But again, the farther north you head, the chillier things will be getting. Look at Marquette. 22 degrees. That is all you are going to manage here for the day. So much chillier off towards the north. So mid part of the week, got our big upper level high pressure system here, a big ridge here in the middle of the country. We've been dealing with temperatures in the 90s, parts of Texas and sections of the Southwest. By the late part of the week, that shifts a little bit farther on off towards the east, where we'll see some things warming up a bit more. As far as the Midwest is concerned, we've got tomorrow 39 in Minneapolis, again, one of the cooler locations there. Could even see some snow showers early in the day around Bismarck. Otherwise, it'll be a cooler day in St. Louis, as we mentioned. Chicago right around 34 degrees for the day, with Alpena sitting at 31 degrees there. 56 showing up in Wichita with a bit of cloud cover. And then we'll march our way on into Thursday. Now we introduce things getting a bit more dirtier in nature with the shower chances in and across the upper Midwest. It will be a little warmer, though. Minneapolis now up to around 43 degrees or so, but you're dealing with some showers there. Omaha, clouds and wind. So a bit of a brisk day showing up, but it's going to be a mild wind, so it won't be a biting wind for you. And how about getting even warmer around Wichita? Near 80 degrees for the day. Just to your west, we set the stage for potentially some strong to severe storms. Farther east you head, the drier it will be, with a temperature in the mid-50s with some sun around Cincinnati. Mark?
And in the Pacific Northwest, the unsettled weather continues. It's been too much recently for Portland and the parks in the area. This is water that has risen out of the Columbia River, right? And the water is up to the table benches there in the parks lining the trails in Portland. Rounds of rain have pushed that river to 16 feet, which is about a half foot above flood stage. So in those areas right along the riverbanks, you're starting to see that water rise in areas that honestly you would expect to see some flooding, which is why they are parks and not homes, right? That said, we could see more water rise because the rain isn't done, and the storm path continues to be pointed directly towards the Pacific Northwest. Let's take a look first here in the Portland area. Here's a zoomed in radar, and we still have on again, off again showers in Portland. Here's the Columbia River, and we are also seeing more rain there. So the watershed is seeing more rain. As we zoom out for you, you can see this big swath of precip coming right up I-5 and just east of there. Some snow in the Cascades of Oregon. More snow, however, for the Sierra Nevada. Here's the Sierra Nevada chain, and here comes that onshore push. Of course, the mountains help to lift up that precipitation and that moisture, even more so, forming extra clouds, wringing out extra precip, and so the snow is going to be pretty impressive when all is said and done. We're talking about 12 to 18 inches in some of those favored locations, maybe up to 2 feet. Can't completely rule that out. Even down towards some of the valleys, Tahoe Valley, Tuesday night into Wednesday, you could see some snow showers. Daytime temps should still be getting well above freezing, so not as much in the valley will be sticking around, but those higher peaks certainly will. You go into the ski resorts and it is all snow for you. So that's the story for today. We're talking snow through the higher elevations, rain, and maybe even some rumbles of thunder for the lower elevations. Then we go into tonight, more rain around the San Francisco Bay, more rain around Los Angeles. How about that? This is covering basically the entire West Coast, and that continues tomorrow too. So some really difficult travel. As for the snow, it is an elevation story. All the mountains will be seeing snow tomorrow. Probably not into the mountains of Los Angeles and Ventura County. A little bit too warm there, the snow level too high. But the snow overall over the west will be pretty impressive. Rainfall amounts will be impressive as well as we go through tomorrow. A lot more to follow here on Weather Center Live. We're going to bring you updates on the severe weather push next.
Right now on Weather Center Live, severe storms, hail, and damaging winds, plus the threat for tornadoes. Who's at risk for dangerous storms today, and where we could see severe weather through the week.
Hello and welcome into Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott.
And I'm meteorologist Alex Wallace. An active week. In fact, for the threat for severe weather, we've got that now through the weekend.
And I'm Dr. Erica Navarro, and we're going to take a closer look at that threat in just a bit. But first, thunderstorms are firing up across parts of the southeast already.
Yeah, we got that severe threat that really stretches out from southwest portions of Missouri all the way through the Tennessee Valley into portions of the Carolinas. Asheville, Chattanooga, Huntsville, Nashville, all included in this mix.
Yeah, so looking down at Nashville right now, you can see a lot of clouds there on the horizon. So maybe some thunderstorms, maybe some wind, maybe even some hail coming your way later on in the day. Let's take it over to Alex to get more on that threat for severe weather.
Yeah, that's certainly what we're going to be watching very closely for, these storms that produce those winds that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour and the hail. That has been the main threat here for us this early part of the day. Hail threat, but we anticipate that to switch over, and we'll see more damaging winds as the afternoon and evening wears on. And there's the zone that we're most concerned with, streaking across parts of Tennessee, far northern Alabama, Georgia, and getting into the western sections of the Carolinas. So here's what's going on. We're tracking a slow-moving cold front, moving nonetheless, though, into an air mass that has some moisture, at least enough to fuel some of these storms. By tomorrow, the front sags essentially down to the Gulf Coast, and we'll see some drier air begin to try to sneak its way on in. But in the meantime, ongoing thunderstorms, and right now, severe thunderstorms here. This is in Missouri, Miller and Morgan counties here until 12:30. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for that. Watch out for hail, could be in the order of quarter size with that particular storm. And then just to the west of the Lebanon area, we've got another severe thunderstorm warning. Dallas and Polk counties until 12:45. Again, hail going to be the main risk with those storms. We already saw a few of those south of Springfield. You can see some of the reports showing up in Reed Springs, 1.5 inches. Hail size here for us. So we're talking getting up over a quarter in that area. So that's the main threat right now, but we think we'll see damaging winds as this all progresses towards the east. In fact, let's time this out. This is the ongoing activity now across Missouri. Timestamp there, and there is the cluster that'll continue to slide on off towards the south and the east. So timing it out here late this afternoon, getting to the evening. Nashville, Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, North Georgia now. This is like 8, 9 o'clock. Watch out across the North Georgia mountains, and then eventually sliding into the Carolinas as we approach the midnight hour ongoing thunderstorms spreading across the rest of the region. A few showers still lingering across the Tennessee Valley. Otherwise, we're looking for the inch or greater hailstones. Anywhere we see that pink, that's where we have the highest risk. And then we've got that damaging wind risk in the high zone in that white shade. So a lot of risk to track here for us as we head on through this Tuesday. But we also have, Dr. Navarro, some big-time heat.
Yeah, that's right. Big-time heat coming to places like Atlanta. Surging near 77 degrees today already in your afternoon hours, you can see, but very beautiful day. Lots of blue skies looking down on the city, but that heat is on today as our forecast is getting into the 80s. And so we're usually somewhere around 60 degrees this time of the year. So the fact that we're up near 80, I mean, that's just exceptionally warm for this time of the year. And that's the case across much of the southeast. You can see a lot of red here on this map. And this is showing you areas where we're just a lot warmer than we're expecting to be for this part of March. And so you can see here, Atlanta, our forecast, we're 20 to 25 degrees above normal for today. So again, that is just very warm. Here's a look at those records for today. And so place like Athens, Georgia, your record is 84 degrees and we're forecast at 83. Columbus, your record high is 85 and we're right there at 84 degrees with our forecast for today. So again, we are right at that potential to break these records. And again, it's just showing you how warm this is for spring. This is feeling more like summer in a lot of these areas. And so right now our temperatures are approaching 80 across the larger part of the southeast, and those temperatures will remain there through the end of the day and perhaps climb maybe a few more degrees, so that by 4 or 5 p.m. we're looking at 86 degrees in Jacksonville, 85 over in Jackson, Mississippi. Again, closer to 90. This is definitely more like summer. This is definitely not a spring day. But check this out. Raleigh, North Carolina, your forecast for today is 80 degrees. And again, that is well above normal. But moving into Wednesday and Thursday, wow, you are dropping down into the 50s, maybe 60 degrees on Wednesday. It's cold. That's like a 30-degree temperature change in a very short amount of time. And so we have this thing called the wedge to thank for that. It's just this leading edge of cold air that's funneling down from the northeast that's helping to cool things down as we move into the latter part of our week. So you can see these purples trying to creep down into the area by Wednesday. So we could be seeing a large drop in temperatures by the end of the week. Mark?
Thank you, Dr. Navarro. Meanwhile, the West Coast seeing more of the same. The onshore flow, the stormy conditions. San Francisco in a break for the moment. It will be temporary. There will be more rain on the way, but at least your travels over the Golden Gate are fairly picturesque for the moment. Again, a little bit further inland, you go towards Stockton, for example. The rain is already there, and we're going to continue to see this kind of unsettled pattern. The next couple of days, just about everyone on the West Coast has a chance of seeing rain. Earlier, the rain that's now over Stockton was right smack dab over San Francisco. It was a soggy morning commute. Now, again, you're getting that break. Here's the wider view, though, and you can see that onshore flow continues to push that Pacific Ocean moisture into the coast of California. It also is riding up by 5. Portland is seeing rain. Seattle in a break, again, temporarily. Some of this rain is going to be headed in your direction. So here's the driving force, right? We've got this area of low pressure, this upper level low that's been camped out here over the basically the Gulf of Alaska. Very strong jet stream winds that will continue to just be that basically conveyor belt for the storm system. So each storm that does form in the Pacific gets just slammed into the West Coast. Moisture's moved onshore, storm system moves east, but that onshore flow continues behind it, which keeps you unsettled. It's scattered showers. The bottom line is that today we're going to see potentially some thunderstorm activity, but fairly widespread rainfall. The higher elevations will see snow. That continues tonight, maybe even with an increased kind of round of rain from Redding to San Francisco. And tomorrow will be raining. Look at this, I-5 all the way through, raining. So when all is said and done, rain still to come just through tomorrow afternoon, up to an inch. Some of those areas near the peaks, Alex, could see 2 to 3.
We'll keep an eye on that, no doubt about it. Plus, we've got a dramatic scene that unfolded in New York when we come back.
Yeah, I'm just not having any luck dating.
Then why don't you try eHarmony? We could find the perfect person for you. We've helped over 1 million people get married.
That sounds great.
Stop waiting. Start communicating for free today.
There's something different at your grocery store. It's Rachel Ray Nutrish Zero Grain. With zero grains, glutens, or fillers, real meat or fish is always the #1 ingredient. Zero Grain from Nutrish. Real recipes, real ingredients, real good.
Hi, I'm Phil Mickelson. I've been fortunate to win on golf's biggest stages. But when joint pain and stiffness from psoriatic arthritis hit, even the smallest things became difficult. So I talked to my rheumatologist, and he prescribed Enbrel to help relieve joint pain and help stop further joint damage.
Enbrel may lower your ability to fight infections. Serious, sometimes fatal events, including infections, tuberculosis, lymphoma, other cancers, nervous system and blood disorders, and allergic reactions have occurred. Tell your doctor if you've been someplace where fungal infections are common, or if you're prone to infections, have cuts or sores, have had hepatitis B, have been treated for heart failure, or if you have persistent fever, bruising, bleeding, or paleness. Don't start Enbrel if you have an infection like the flu.
Get back to the things that matter most. Ask how Enbrel can help relieve joint pain and help stop joint damage.
Enbrel, the #1 rheumatologist-prescribed biologic.
I think what's most exciting about the future of meteorology and the Weather Channel is that we're always going to give that little extra nugget about the science behind it that you can't get with a scroll of your finger, that little interesting tidbit to kind of spark an interest in somebody watching. Want even more from the Weather Channel? Join us at weloveweather.tv.
If you love the window seat, start your day opening the window to your weather with AMHQ, mornings on the Weather Channel.
At Crowne Plaza, we know business travel isn't just business. There's this, a bit of this. Why not? Your hotel should make it easy to do all the things you do, which is what we do. Crowne Plaza, we're all business, mostly.
I want the most out of my health and life, so I trust Nature Made vitamins. Because they were the first to be verified by USP for quality and purity standards, and because I recommend them as a pharmacist.
Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
No, I can't have happen what happened last time.
No.
It's not worth it.
Here's my card. I'm sure you know your profits are down 8%, so just let me know if you want to change that.
You might take something for your heart, your joints, or your digestion. So why wouldn't you take something for the most important part of you, your brain? With an ingredient originally found in jellyfish, Prevagen is now the #1 selling brain health supplement in drugstores nationwide. Prevagen, the name to remember.
Cod Extravaganza is here at Long John Silver's. Try our new Coastal Beer Battered Cod. It's all-natural Alaskan cod dipped into a golden beer batter for a twist on a classic flavor. The choice is yours, because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
Watch as it happens. After a 16-year-old youth slipped through thin ice in New York Central Park, police officers actually used a ladder to pull him to safety. The teen was reportedly blue when he was pulled from that icy water. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. So that ended fortunately. This, though, the second time in as many days that people have fallen while walking on thin ice. On Sunday, a pair of teens slipped through the ice, but they managed to get themselves out of that icy water as well. So it's been a tough time around Central Park for walking on ice this season, right? It's just been too warm, and the ice just hasn't been thick enough. to support folks from walking. Now, right now, 50 degrees in Pittsburgh. Another mild day there for you. We were pretty mild yesterday and more again today. Sort of a flip on a reversal of what we've seen for a good portion of our March, which has been on the cooler side here compared particularly to February, which was pretty mild, right? So here's the entire month going up through yesterday, the 20th. And this is basically the average temperatures for each day. We take the high, we take the low, we add the two together, and then divide by 2, and that's the number you get, that average temperature for the day. And what to take away from this is there's a lot more blue showing up on the map. A lot more blue days, a lot more below average days than above average days this month in Pittsburgh. And today is going to be one of those warmer days. 54 for you in the city right now, 55 in D.C., and starting to creep up to 50 in Boston. We hit that mark yesterday, and I think today we'll have a pretty decent shot at doing so again. Forecasting your high for the day to get up to around 53. A little cooler in Burlington, 41 degrees expected for us, but look at D.C., 64 for your afternoon. But we're going to see some changes here. Cooler air, that is going to come surging right on in parts of New England, the Mid-Atlantic. In fact, as we head on into tomorrow, look at these high temperatures. It's not the low temperatures, highs for the day. Burlington, 19. Binghamton, also 19. And D.C., those 60s, say goodbye to that. 45 degrees for your afternoon, and Pittsburgh right at 34 degrees. Heading into Thursday, slight warm up, but again, much cooler than where we are this early part of the week. But we also have to watch the threat for severe storms. Dr. Navarro's got the latest on where that's expected.
Yeah, thanks so much, Alex. We're going to take a look here at Oklahoma City, where it's one of those places we could expect to see some severe weather through the end of the week. But right now, our temperature is about 75 degrees, so another warm day gearing up for you in Oklahoma City today on your Tuesday. Yesterday, wow, 91 degrees for your high, and today we are surging again into the 80s. So we are in a bit of a warm stretch for the next couple days, and then the next system is going to be rolling on in and bringing with it that threat for severe thunderstorms. And so Friday looks like we could see a lot of winds, and that's probably going to be one of the days we can expect to see those thunderstorms coming through. But before that, here in the northern part of Texas and moving up into Kansas and Oklahoma, there is a threat for severe weather on Thursday night. So we're expecting some heavy rain, some damaging winds, and possibly some localized hail. And again, this is a nighttime threat, so definitely one you have to be prepared for and be on the lookout for. And so here's the reason for this. We have this system dropping into the Central Plains, and that system has with it this dry line. It's what we call a dry line. That separates this area of moist air from very hot and dry air behind it. And so out ahead of this front, we're still not too sure at this moment in time how much moisture is going to be surging in, but there's enough that's going to be fueling this threat, at least for the most part. But we have these strong low-level winds associated with that system, as well as these very strong jet stream winds aloft. So all of these ingredients together are coming into place to fuel this threat for today. And so there's that dry line again, showing you that boundary between the moist and the dry air. So right along that line is where we expect to see the largest instability as far as these severe weather threats go. And so on Friday, here's our area. It stretches all the way from the Gulf Coast up north into near the Dakotas, into Louisiana as well. And this will be tracking off to the east, moving into your Saturday. Torcons of 3 out for right now.
Well, I love it. This piece is so you.
I know, right? I saw it and I was just like, oh, I have to have it.
Is it suede?
It's suede. Love suede.
State Farm knows that for every one of those moments, there's one of these.
Well, I love it. This piece is so you. I know, right? I saw it and I was like, have to have it. Is it suede? It's suede. I love suede.
That's why we're there with renter's insurance when things go wrong, but also here with a rewards credit card to help life go right. State Farm.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
It's not how fast you mow, it's how well you mow fast.
They're not just words to mow by, they're words to live by. The John Deere Z-Track Z345R with the Excel Deep Deck to mow faster, better. Take a test drive and save up to $250 on select John Deere residential Z-Track mowers.
Yes. Tonight we shake hands with pots and pans and take things step by step.
Tonight we cook. Delivering delicious ingredients you'll love to eat, simple recipes you'll live to cook. HelloFresh. Get cooking.
I love you, couch. You give us comfort, and we give you bare feet, back sweat, and gordos. everything. I love you, but sometimes you stink. New Febreze Fabric Refresher with Odor Clear technology cleans away odors like never before. Because the things you love the most can stink. And plug in Febreze to keep your whole room fresh for up to 45 days. Breathe happy with new Febreze.
I'm proud of what the Weather Channel is. It's a place you can turn to and trust.
Our team's taking you into the storm with live reports and expertise you won't get anywhere else. We are meteorologists.
Comes to a weather situation that warrants attention, we're the place to go. It's that simple.
So I lose my dental insurance when I retire?
That's right, George. Our plan just doesn't cover retirees.
Every year, millions of Americans lose their dental insurance. And with the high cost of dental care, they simply can't afford to go to the dentist. If you're without coverage for whatever reason, you should give us a call. For as little as $1 a day, you can get dental insurance from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. Call now and we'll send you this free information kit. We help pay for more than 350 covered procedures. Things like cleanings, fillings, crowns, even dentures. Plus, you can see any dentist you want. There are no networks and no deductibles. We all know dental bills can be expensive, so coverage like this has never been more important. Don't stop seeing your dentist, because that can lead to bigger problems down the road. Get the dental care you deserve. Call now for your free information kit with all the details about this affordable dental insurance. Don't wait. Call now.
Start your day with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno, opening the window to your weather on AMHQ. Mornings on the Weather Channel.
It has been a little bit warm out, and it's still a little bit warm out. Phoenix with clear skies, working your way towards another 90-degree day after hitting 96 yesterday, which was indeed a record high. Santa Fe, you'll be into the 70s, so not nearly as hot as Phoenix, but well above average by Santa Fe standards, and that's really what it's all about, right? Temperatures are so much about what you're used to. And this year, we're just used to warmer temps because that has been the rule as opposed to the exception. Look at this for the next couple of days in Phoenix. Again, 91 today, 85 tomorrow, well above average. Sliding down to a slightly below average temperature on Thursday, maybe even with some showers nearby, which would be a nice change for the Phoenix area. And then we climb right back up, going into the low 80s by the time we get into Saturday. It's not just, you know, a couple of areas. It is much of the west above average. The yellow dots here, 5 degrees above average, and that's with pretty prolific clouds and showers today, mind you. Then we're talking the four corners today, oranges and reds. That's 10, 15, even 20 degrees or more above your averages. So for today, we're talking record territory. That includes places like Salt Lake City, 76 when the record high is 74. Tucson, 91 when the record high is 90. And El Paso should break that record as well. And right now, you're well on your way. If you're walking the strip there in Vegas, 73. That is already a warm kind of hike in between those casinos, which seem to have like a mile and a half between each front door. Phoenix, if you're in the Valley of the Sun, you're approaching 80 degrees already. And again, still warming through the rest of the day. Tomorrow, a little bit of relief, but not much. That southern third of the nation has the potential for more records. And here in the Southwest, those records will continue to fall. Albuquerque, 81 when the record high is 77. Roswell could break your record tomorrow, 90. The record high is 87. Into tomorrow, there's a big difference when it comes to elevation, right? Phoenix, 85. Warm by Flagstaff standards, but Flagstaff is in the mountains, so 58 for you. Comfortable hiking weather, but still above average there also. A quick talk about Tucson. Tucson, you've been more than 15 degrees above average for 13 days straight now. Today should probably be another one into the low 90s. And with that, you've had 9 days with 90-degree temperatures or higher in March. That is a record, and each subsequent 90-degree day that we hit is just adding to those records. Dr. Navarro, this is just one more example as to how warm it has been on such a wide scale across the nation, that we're talking about almost double-digit 90-degree days in the month of March in Tucson.
Yeah, just amazing, Mark. Very warm and also very dry across parts of the Southwest. Well, the hard work has certainly paid off along the front of the Sunshine Fire near Boulder, Colorado. The crews have now contained the fire 100%. And the more than 400 people that were forced to flee ahead of this fire are now allowed to return back to their homes. This fire blackened 74 acres. So great that we were able to contain that fire. So we're going to check in right now in Boulder, Colorado to see how things are faring in the wake of that. And so it appears that those warm and kind of dry temperatures are going to be hanging out for a couple days, but a little bit of relief on the way for you on Friday as showers are starting to roll back into your forecast. And so taking a look right now at the dew point temperatures across the northern plains, this is giving you an idea of the moisture that's in place. That's what we use the dew point temperatures for. The lower they are, the drier that air typically is. And so out here in Colorado, down near Denver, the dew points are still around 30 degrees. They're a lot lower up here in the northern plains. So again, very dry across parts of these areas. But come time Thursday, that next system coming in off the west coast is going to be moving into that area. So there's a lot of rain hopefully coming in, dropping and relieving some of these conditions across the Southwest. Mark?
He's the hero Gotham deserves. And in this snowy city, he's the one it needs right now. Coming up, how the Dark Knight played a white knight to one resident in need. A video you've just got to see. Stick around.
Introducing Cologuard.
I'm here for an important reason. Colon cancer screening. If you're age 50 or older and at average risk, Cologuard finds cancer and pre-cancer. And it's a non-invasive test you can use at home. In fact, I'm as easy as get, go, gone. How do you get me? Your doctor orders me, and I'm delivered directly to your doorstep. There's no need for time off or special prep because I use the DNA in your stool to find colon cancer. Then you just go. I mean, collect your sample. Then I'm gone. Just ship me to the lab. Gotta go.
Cologuard is intended for individuals at average risk for colon cancer. Cologuard is not for high-risk individuals, including those with a history of colon cancer or polyps, IBD, certain hereditary cancer syndromes, or a family history of colon cancer. Cologuard, colon cancer screening that's as easy as get, go, gone. Ask your doctor if Cologuard is right for you.
Want to be happy with your next vehicle purchase? At Enterprise, we guarantee it. Head to your neighborhood Enterprise car sales and let the people who buy more vehicles than anyone change your thinking about buying your next one.
Dish was founded on innovation to cover the millions of Americans the cable companies wouldn't. Why? Because when we've gotten it right, it was when we were listening. Not to ourselves, but to our customers. And I'm here to spread the word. But I'm not a spokesman. Instead, I'm a spokeslistener. And I'm here to listen in an industry that doesn't. Why? Because at Dish, we're tuned in to you.
Don't waste your time and money at the chain store. They got the best auto parts. Brake parts, suspension parts, and dealer parts too. The website's so easy to use. The lowest prices and fast delivery too.
What's it like to be in good hands? Like finding new ways to be taken care of.
Home, car, life insurance, obviously. Oh.
But with added touches you can't get everywhere else, like claim-free rewards or safe driving bonus checks. Oh, yes. Even a claim satisfaction guarantee. In means protection plus unique extras. Only from an expert Allstate agent.
It's good to be in good hands.
Can a toothpaste do everything well?
This clean was like, pow. My teeth are glowing. They are so white.
Step 1 cleans, step 2 whitens. Crest HD, 6 times cleaning, 6 times whitening.
I would switch to Crest HD over what I was using before.
It's amazing out there to me means, just the beauty of what is around us. A beautiful sunrise, waves crashing on the beach, enjoying that first snowfall of the season, watching a tornado spin in the plains of Oklahoma. To me, that's what it's amazing out there is.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Isn't it time to hear the sounds you love without having to reach for the remote? Call 1-800-BELTONE for a free hearing screening. It's time to hear it all. Call 1-800-BELTONE today.
Well, this Cape Crusader hung up his batarangs and picked up a shovel and was captured helping out this person shovel some snow in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
After some hard work, the duo managed to dig out this person's car. Good times here, I tell you. Makes you want to step up your game with the Halloween costumes, right? It's a pretty good one there, that Batman costume.
Costume? It's Batman. It's not a costume. What are you talking about, Alex?
You say so.
I mean, look how fast they cleared that car. That can't be a costume.
Camera tricks.
I see.
All right, half past the hour here for us on Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Alex Wallace.
I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott. An active week, severe storms today, and again later this week.
And I'm Dr. Erica Navarro, and we're going to take a closer look at those storms in just a bit. But first, a severe threat now for the southeast.
Yeah, we've been watching even in the center of the country, southwest Missouri, all the way stretching down in towards the Carolinas today. There's an old boundary that could kick up some severe storms. And Dr. Navarro, it is warm out here. Right? I mean, this will make that chance for storms a little bit more likely today.
Yeah, exactly. Those warm temperatures just not going anywhere for the moment. Very warm and looking like a fairly decent day right now in Memphis, but severe weather on the way. And so let's take it over to Alex, who's going to talk a little bit more about that threat.
Yeah, indeed. In fact, we're already seeing some active storms at this hour. Severe thunderstorm warnings in the state of Missouri. We've got Cole and Monotone counties here until 1 o'clock, essentially just around Jefferson City and south. That's for this particular storm, which continues to move on off towards the east. Severe thunderstorm warning here indicating watching out for the threat for hail. That's going to be the main risk with that particular storm. The same as we head farther south, just now west of the Lebanon area, Dallas and Polk counties until 12:45. Severe thunderstorm warning again, hail the main risk. That seems to be what we've been dealing with these storms here during this early part of the day. We put the hail tracker on to show you the hail with that. And in the order of about a quarter size hail here for us. In fact, they're in Reed Spring. You can see an 1.5 inches here that was reported. They're right along that 44 corridor. Now we zoom out the picture, and the cluster of storms continuing here across Missouri will be continuing to move on off towards the east. So right now, as you saw the picture in Memphis, looks really nice. Clear skies, basically cloud-free there. We're seeing a few more clouds streaming across the central part of the state. Eventually, we'll see some of this rain move on through. Memphis, bulk of the action may be to your north, but Nashville, you'll get hit pretty square on the chin there. Then we move down towards Chattanooga, 9, 10 o'clock. North Georgia and eventually getting into the Carolinas. That whole cluster continues to move in that general direction. At that point, we could be looking at more of a damaging wind threat with these storms, along with a bit of hail. But the threat for inch or greater hail, and again, that's quarter size. The highest risk is anywhere you see that sort of pink shading here for you, south of Nashville, just around Huntsville and north of the Atlanta area. And we also have that risk for the damaging winds. 60+ mile-an-hour winds will be possible. The highest risk in the white, Nashville, down towards Huntsville, Chattanooga included, and just north of Atlanta. And even surrounding that, even though the risk is low, that doesn't mean we can't have that chance from Charlotte down towards Columbia. We will certainly have to keep an eye on that. So a lot of threats to contend with here. And again, that hail threat is a big one. Let's find out how that hail forms now with Dr. Navarro.
Yeah, thanks so much, Alex. Yes, that hail definitely going to be a big threat this week, moving in with these severe weather systems. So let's break it down a little bit and talk a little bit more about how hail actually forms. And so within these thunderstorms, we have what's called an updraft, and that is this area of surging warm air that's rising in the atmosphere. And these updrafts can be fairly intense, some of them up to 100 miles per hour in some cases. And so embedded in that updraft are these tiny droplets of water, right? And so as they rise up in the atmosphere and things cool down, they actually freeze. And so these frozen particles move up in the atmosphere and then start running into and colliding with other droplets in the area. And so what you end up getting is a very large hailstone in these updrafts. And so eventually these hailstones grow so big that they become too heavy for the updraft to actually hold them, and they fall right out of the cloud. And so if we look at the largest hailstone that was recorded, it was up to 8 inches in diameter. I mean, that is huge, okay? I mean, we're talking like almost like a softball or bigger coming down at your head. And so the updraft that had to, that probably sustained that was upwards of 150 miles per hour, which is hurricane force winds. So definitely something strong. And so how much wind do you need to get hail? Well, on the lower end, winds on the updrafts on the order of 35 miles per hour have been known to produce pea-sized hail, so tiny parts. But again, these winds and these updrafts can get very intense. So if you want to go up to teacup size, so again, you know, like you think about a teacup, okay, how big is that? You know, but that's large when it's a hailstone falling out of the sky, right? And so when you have winds upward in that range, you can get some potentially very dangerous hail, which not only can cause damage to cars and windows, but could be very dangerous to be driving in as well. So Mark, definitely a threat for some hail, but hopefully that helps to understand how it forms.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Navarro. And we're talking about a hail threat as we go through the end of the week. A storm system coming out of the west into the center of the country will have a lot of those ingredients necessary to support large hail. The biggest threat starts off Thursday night across West Kansas, the Oklahoma Panhandle, the Texas Panhandle. Gusty winds and hail, the primary threats here. There may be an isolated tornado chance as well. Moisture is surging in, coming up from the south. Not nearly as robust a moisture plume as we've seen in a couple of the previous severe weather outbreaks so far this year. So that might be a little bit of a limiting factor. There will also be this feature known as a dry line. This dry line separating the moisture from the east to the very dry desert air to the west. And with that, that dry line will act like a bit of a front and help to lift that moisture, create the clouds, showers, and eventually storms. Winds are pretty strong in the low levels coming out of the south. The upper level winds displaced a bit. Notice they're a little bit further back towards the south and west, although those jet stream winds are moving, and they are moving out of this kind of southwest direction. So a different wind direction with height. That could support some rotation if you get those two to kind of overlie each other. And the best chance for that will be back right near that dry line where the storms will also be getting their lift. And so that's where the ingredients start to come together for Thursday evening. Friday afternoon, a little bit further east, our dry line punches all the way to, say, like Oklahoma City to Tulsa, down through Dallas, approaching Kansas City. So our severe weather threat Friday will move along with it. Let's talk about Friday, right? Because we've got this severe weather zone curling around back near the area of low pressure. We will have some cold air aloft, and that will support the lift. Then we have the storms along the dry line, and out ahead of that dry line as they move east, that's why we have such a kind of convoluted shape to our severe weather potential Friday. But within here, there will be some spin. And so 3 out of 10 on the Torcon for Friday, meaning a 30% chance of tornadoes within any 50-mile radius. Saturday, as our storm system moves east, The severe weather threat moves east along with it. Southern Missouri, maybe into Kentucky, and then all the way down to the Gulf Coast. We have that severe weather potential to start off your weekend. A place like Little Rock, Friday, late in the day, the showers arrive. It's really Friday evening where we could see some of those storms. They'll last through Friday night, ending Saturday morning. And Sunday will be a much nicer day. Alex, over to you.
All right, in the meantime, we've got warmth to contend with. Look at these numbers for the day. Highs well above average. Look at all these dots showing up, essentially covering the entire southeast. The red dots indicating areas that'll be more than 15 degrees above average. That includes Memphis, Atlanta, and even the Charleston area as well. Right now, we've got widespread 70s out there. This is at this hour. Atlanta already up to 81 degrees. I mean, this is insane warmth to contend with here at this time of the year. For May, all right, but it's still March. So this is really warm stuff, and we should continue to rise in Jackson up to 85, the same in Jacksonville. Raleigh, 79 expected for your day. And we can start getting that much above average. We're going to be talking record warmth. Look at Columbus. Could break the record by a degree if we get to 86. Tupelo, Mississippi, tying a record there of 84 degrees for your day. So record warmth, but then things chill down just a bit. Raleigh, look at what you'll see near 80 today. And then tomorrow, yeah, we'll break out some coats with temperatures in the 50s.
See me.
See me.
Don't stare at me.
See me.
See me.
See me to know that psoriasis is just something that I have.
I'm not contagious.
See me to know that I won't stop until I find what works.
Discover Cosentyx, a different kind of medicine for moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, proven to help the majority of people find clear or almost clear skin. 8 out of 10 people saw 75% skin clearance at 3 months, while the majority saw 90% clearance. Do not use if you are allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, you should be tested for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you have received a vaccine or plan to. If you have inflammatory bowel disease, tell your doctor if symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions may occur.
See me.
See me. See me on my way.
Find clear skin and a clearer path forward. For a different kind of medicine, ask your dermatologist about Cosentyx.
When you have type 2 diabetes, there's a moment of truth. And now with Victoza, a better moment of proof.
Victoza lowers my A1C and blood sugar better than the leading branded pill, which didn't get me to my goal.
Lowers my A1C better than the leading branded injectable, the one I used to take. Victoza lowers blood sugar in 3 ways.
And while it isn't for weight loss, Victoza may help you lose some weight. Non-insulin Victoza comes in a pen and is taken once a day.
Victoza is not recommended as the first medication to treat diabetes and is not for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Victoza if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Victoza or any of its ingredients. Stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, or if you develop any allergic symptoms including itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. So stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you have severe pain in your stomach area. Tell your doctor your medical history. Taking Victoza with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. The most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. Side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
Now's the time for a better moment of proof. Ask your doctor about Victoza.
Natural Bliss has turned the creamer world upside down with new almond milk creamers that are deliciously creamy. Made from real almonds and Madagascar vanilla. All natural, just got delicious. New Natural Bliss almond milk creamers. Stir things up.
There's something different at your grocery store. It's grain-free and made just for pets. It's Rachel Ray Nutrish Zero Grain with zero grains or fillers. Made with simple, natural ingredients like real meat or fish, which is always the first ingredient. So you can get a specialty recipe for your pet without a special trip. Nutrish. Real recipes, real ingredients, real good. Plus, try new protein-rich Peak with nutrient-dense venison, duck, or quail.
Today, we're finally getting our bathtub redone. We weren't happy with it.
But we didn't want the headaches of demolition.
Or the days without our bathroom. Then a friend told us about Bath Fitter and their unique tub-over-tub process. There's no demolition, and they install in as little as a day. They also have a seamless wall for a watertight fit. And Bath Fitter has a lifetime guarantee. What a difference. Finally, a bathtub I love.
Call today or learn more at bathfitter.com.
Cod Extravaganza is here at Long John Silver's.
Try our new Coastal Beer Battered Cod. It's all-natural Alaskan cod dipped into a golden beer batter for a twist on a classic flavor. The choice is yours.
Because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
Excuse me, I was wondering if you could help me.
Can you say love it?
Oh, love it.
Can you say hey?
Hey!
That's the spirit of.
Ooh, ooh. Sing, sing, baby, maybe I love you. Oh, yeah. Ooh, every little thing.
Well, with the growing warmth comes an all too familiar sound of the season. You got the sneezes, the coughs of allergies across the south. Many of those trees have blossomed and bloomed, plants too. And as a result, places like Atlanta are seeing pollen counts above 1,500 for the day. Really high numbers out there for us, the highest we've seen in the season. Now, we had a day or two back in February where those pollen counts really got up there, but things calmed down a bit, but now they've shot right back up. Tree pollen, one of the big issues here in Atlanta. Again, very high readings in the city. Dallas up in the high category, and Charleston as well. Notice all three cities, tree pollen seems to be the big culprit. So here's the entire nation checking out on tree pollen. There you have it, that southern tier, those areas in the sort of shade of orange and red. That's where we're in that high to very high category. But even as we get up into parts of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, starting to see more low to moderate values showing up there as well. So tree pollen is really taking over. Grass pollen, not as much. We tend to see grass pollen getting a bit going as we get into the summertime. Weed pollen also not seeing a whole lot in the country. In fact, not seeing any reports. Weed pollen tends to be the big time in the fall season. Mark?
So the temperatures have been climbing in the south. Your allergy issues have been climbing as well. Joining us now is Dr. Stan Feinman with the Atlanta Allergy and Asthma Clinic. Doc, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, number one, your website shows a pollen count for the Atlanta metro of 1,549. What does that mean? What does it mean that this is so high and so early?
Well, what that means is that there are that many grains of pollen in the air, in the cubic meter of air for a 24-hour period. And what it means for patients who have pollen allergies is that they're likely to have symptoms of sneezing, itchy eyes, itchy nose, nasal congestion, and a lot of times they just feel miserable.
Have you seen an uptick in patients coming in and complaining about their allergy symptoms, either by full numbers or just earlier in the season? Because things seem to bloom really early this year.
This year is an unusual year in this area because we had very high pollen counts in February. We had warmer weather, we had high pollen counts, and people started to have symptoms even in mid-February. And then it got colder, and earlier this month we didn't have very high pollen counts, but now we're seeing the high pollen counts again. And what happens to patients is that they get a condition called priming. And priming occurs when you have an exposure to an allergen, then the exposure goes away, but the patient is still sensitized, and so when they're re-exposed, they're in a position to have an even more of an allergic reaction when they're re-exposed to that allergen. And I think we're seeing that in patients because people are complaining about that now.
We have about 30 seconds left, but I mean, there's different ways to combat this. There's the over-the-counter pills, there's prescription pills, there's shots. What do you tell patients that come to see you?
Well, the first of all is get an accurate diagnosis. Go to an allergist, get a skin test, find out what exactly you're allergic to. Then they can help you develop a plan, and the plan may mean some over-the-counter medication, may mean allergen immunotherapy or allergy shots, which is really a very effective disease-modifying type treatment that helps people develop a tolerance, so when they're re-exposed to the allergens, they don't have the same symptoms year after year.
And then, you know, when it comes to a day like this, when it's such at a high level, do you ever just tell your patients, don't go outside on a day that it's this high?
Well, in fact, we do recommend that the patients follow the pollen count, and we do recommend that because when it is this high, it's better to do your exercise indoor, limit your activity outdoors, and make sure when you do come inside, you take your shoes off, you wash your hair, you change your clothes before you go into the bedroom. Do those kind of, basically, try to get rid of the pollen that's on your body.
All right, that is Dr. Stan Feinman with the Atlanta Allergy and Asthma Clinic. Side note, I'll be there for my yearly checkup in a couple months because I get allergy shots too. I'm like the rest of the country right now, fighting through it. So thanks for joining us today. The weather has a huge role, as you heard the doc explaining. The warm temperatures means everything's blooming. Try to limit that outdoor time if you can, and talk to an allergist if you need one.
With flights getting so expensive, how do you find great deals anymore? Well, Priceline found a way with Express Deal Flights. We partner with top airlines to fill their unsold seats, saving you up to 40%. Just tap and go. Hey, Vegas. You know, I saw this wild show in Vegas with my friend Diana. There were like acrobats and people on wires. Oh, am I boring you? Hello? Flights up to 40% off. Check them out now at Priceline.
Introducing Walkabout Wednesdays. It's our best deal ever. Tender centre-cut sirloin or chicken on the barbie, fries, a draft beer or a Coke, all for just $9.99. Only for a limited time, so don't walk, run to Outback.
There's an opportunity in every window. A view connecting in here to an entire world of out there. So start your day opening the window to your weather with AMHQ. Watch Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno looking out at the stories and the science behind your forecast. Open up your mornings with AMHQ on the Weather Channel.
Want to feel luxurious hand cream?
Luxurious hand cream? My hands get so dry and cracked from constant washing, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keeffe's Working Hands. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands. Thanks to O'Keeffe's, I got my hands back.
O'Keeffe's, guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked hands and feet.
What's the new Effordent effect? It's the difference you see with Effordent's new improved Oxy Action. Now with more bubbles, Effordent attacks plaque even between dentures for a clean, healthy mouth. Discover the new improved Effordent effect.
Let me talk to you about retirement. The 401k is the most sound way to go. Let's talk asset allocation. Sure.
You seem knowledgeable, professional.
Would you trust me as your financial advisor?
I would.
I would indeed. Well, let's be clear here. I'm actually a DJ.
No way.
I have no financial experience at all.
That really is you.
If they're not a CFP pro, you just don't know. Find a certified financial planner professional who's thoroughly vetted at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
Heartburn.
No one burns on my watch.
Try Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Chews. They work fast and don't taste chalky.
Amazing. I have heartburn.
Alka-Seltzer Heartburn Relief Chews. Enjoy the relief.
Just like the people who own them, every business is different. But every one of those businesses will need legal help as they age and grow. Whether it be help starting your business, vendor contracts, or employment agreements, LegalZoom's network of attorneys can help you every step of the way. So you can focus on what you do. We'll handle the legal stuff that comes up along the way. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
When shopping for a new home, it's important to know what you can afford, right? Is it this one, or this one, or maybe this one? Guaranteed Rate takes away the guesswork and gives you answers fast. Just visit rate.com, and within 60 seconds, Guaranteed Rate's intuitive loan finder can help you find your perfect loan. Just do this, and this, and then this. There it is. It's that easy. With its amazing customer service and 95% satisfaction rating, Guaranteed Rate knows that you don't want paperwork and long forms to fill out. You want answers. And at rate.com, you can find the answers you're looking for fast. I'm talking within seconds. Go to rate.com to find the low, low rate. Seriously, you'll be surprised how much money you could save. Whether you're buying or refinancing your home, get a low, low rate from Guaranteed Rate today. Call 1-888-673-8300 or visit rate.com.
If you love the window seat, start your day opening the window to your weather with AMHQ, mornings on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back. Checking in on St. Louis here at this hour. Looking pretty good here. Got some sunshine out there. The clouds have thinned out just a bit. It was a little hazier earlier this morning. Now a little brighter with some blue sky, but on the mild side. And we're on our way up. Could be looking at some 60s here for the day, but those 60s and the warmth won't be lasting too long. We'll be dropping down this week, but then we'll rise once again. So it's up, down, up, down, up, down, what we've got to deal with here in the city. Here it is, St. Louis over the next couple of days. As I mentioned today, getting up into the 60s, but by tomorrow, that drops to 50. That's all you will manage, but short-lived cool down, back up to 60 for Thursday. And then how about peaking at 72 degrees by the time we get to Friday? So ending the week on a really warm note, your average high is 58. We'll be in the 70s by Friday, then coming down a 10-degree drop between Friday and Saturday. But still a bit above average out there for you. So that's what I meant by dealing with the up and down. Right now, you can see where the cooler air is located. Upper Midwest, generally, that's where we're finding 30s. Minneapolis right now, Des Moines sitting at 36 degrees. You're seeing a bit of snow actually moving its way across parts of Iowa. Now, out ahead of all that, we still have that warmth. 55 Kansas City, over towards Cleveland where you're at 54 degrees. Cincinnati, you've just bumped up a degree now up to 55. So that's where the mild air is, essentially the Ohio River Valley. High temperatures for the day should top out here for us in Chicago right around 53 degrees or so. But look at that, Marquette, 21. That is all you will manage there with the 59 mark, so close to 60 there in Indianapolis for your afternoon. So for the mid part of the week, big ridge here across parts of the Southwest, Southern Plains into Texas. I mean, we've seen some of these areas here feeling more like summer time. By late week, watch the ridge expand a bit off towards the east, so some warmer areas expected, parts of the Mid-South and even sections of the Midwest as well. So here's tomorrow afternoon, 56 in Wichita, 48 showing up around the Omaha area, with Chicago cooling down now, 35 for your afternoon. So a much cooler day there. Alpena in the lower 30s, and we still have a little bit of snow to deal with here, at least in the eastern parts of the Dakotas, maybe even sneaking into northwest sections of the state of Iowa. Moving into tomorrow and Thursday, now we bring up the numbers a bit. Wichita approaching 80. So your cool day is going to be tomorrow, Thursday, warming up and out ahead of some storms that will be impacting the western part of the state, and showery weather marking the upper Midwest, looking a little dreary in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what, that onshore flow and that stormy pattern in the western United States, the results are this. Water from the Columbia River is closing in on the bottom of some of those picnic table benches in the parks, lining the trails there in Portland, Oregon. We've seen rounds of rain. It's been a very soggy winter. Many areas in the Pacific Northwest saw a top 10, if not top 1, wettest winter season. And now we are about half a foot above flood stage right along the Columbia River. So those parks are starting to flood, and we still have more storms pushing into the west and that means we may see more flooding over the next couple of days. Let's start things out here across the west, the wide look at the radar. Here's Portland, of course, and showers have moved through, but they're still right over the Columbia River. That Columbia River and the gorge just east of town, and steady rains are still falling. So the river is still going to be getting water. That whole watershed, all the water flows into the low-lying area, which is the river. And so eventually, even if it's not running in Portland and raining in Portland, that heavier rain and has an impact, and you're seeing that in the parks. Further south, San Francisco has cleared out nicely, but not so fortunate from Monterey and the aquarium up towards, let's say Sacramento. We still have the chance for some showers there. When that moisture hits the colder mountains and the colder air in those higher elevations, we're suddenly seeing snow again. Many areas could see 18 to 24 inches of snow before all is said and done here on those tallest peaks. It should mostly be featured in kind of the southern peaks. They are taller, and thus you're getting even more cold air and even more lift from the mountains, and that's where we're going to see the most extreme levels of snow. In the Tahoe Valley area, the high temperatures should be far enough above freezing that we'll see at least some mixing with rain, but at night you go back to snow showers, so there could be some of that refreezing game on any untreated surfaces, icy windows to start off your day. Keep that in mind. The whole West Coast has a chance for some precip, right? We're talking today into tonight with unsettled weather, rain, and maybe even some thunderstorm activity near the coast, snow in the higher elevations. We're also continuing to follow that tomorrow from LA all the way up through Seattle, a chance for rain just about all day. We're also following a severe threat when this goes into the center of the country. We'll break down that for you coming up next.
Right now on Weather Center Live, severe storms, hail, and damaging winds, plus the threat for tornadoes. Who's at risk for the dangerous storms today, and where we could see severe weather through the week. Hello and welcome into Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott. And I'm meteorologist Alex Wallace. An active week here for us as we got the threat for severe weather now, lasting all the way through the weekend.
And I'm Dr. Erica Navarro, and we're going to take a closer look at that in just a bit, but we also have some thunderstorms firing up today across parts of the southeast.
Yeah, you know, we've seen some severe weather, severe thunderstorm warnings across Missouri earlier today. Southwest Missouri all the way into the western Carolinas has that chance for severe weather, and that includes the Nashville area.
Yeah, exactly. And Nashville has been on the warmer side for the last couple days, but again, that threat for severe weather now on this way, and those warm temperatures helping to fuel it. So let's take it over to Alex to get a little bit more on that threat in the southwest.
Yeah, let's do it here as we are following some ongoing showers and storms at hour stretching across the state of Missouri here. This is seeming to be the hotbed of storms here, at least at this hour. There's St. Louis. The activity is essentially off to your south and west, and then sliding down through the southeastern part of the state. Earlier, it was not too far from the Springfield area where we had some of those storms. Right now, no severe warnings, so some good news. Some of the warnings that were previously out no longer in effect, but we do have heavy downpours and a bit of lightning to contend with here. We're not too far from the Poplar Bluff area here. You can see that cluster here moving right along that 55 corridor, and that's where we've got some heavier rain and a lot of lightning associated with the storms. But this is what was happening earlier. Look at the hail reports coming on in. We're talking inch and a half here, so right around that quarter size here with the hailstones, not too far from Springfield. So we will follow this cluster There it is right now, moving through the southeastern part of the state. Pretty quiet at this hour across most of Tennessee, but you can see the general motion of that cluster is moving in that direction, so things will be moving downhill. Nashville quiet here, but there's your timestamp looking for that activity to move on in late this afternoon, getting in the early part of our evening. Then late tonight, looks like northern Georgia, even around the Atlanta area, seeing some of those storms, and then moving into the Carolinas as we move towards a midnight cluster of storms. And it looks like as we get into tonight, that damaging wind threat is going to start to ramp up. Right now, it seems to be more of a hail threat, but then the damaging wind threat, I think, starts to really take over. But the threat for an inch or greater size hail is in place. Highest here in that pink shading here, pink or purplish shade south of Nashville, moving down into northern Alabama, as well as just north of the Atlanta area. And even outside of that, even though the risk is on the low side in the light shade of purple, doesn't mean the risk is zero. So we could still see some hail in those areas, but the highest risk in that pink shade. And the threat for the damaging wind, highest in the white shading here for you from Nashville to Murfreesboro down towards Chattanooga, and then just north of Atlanta as well. Watch for that threat. 60, 70 mile per hour winds cannot be ruled out. This is an area, though, that could use some rain. You can see we still have extreme drought in some of these spots in North Georgia, the Western Carolinas. The rainfall that we see, though, is probably not going to bust the drought. Most areas here maybe up to an inch. But a lot of focus, Dr. Navarro, is on those temperatures, which are quite warm.
Yeah, exactly. Quite warm across the southeast, and in particular in Atlanta today. You're taking a look here at the downtown area. Temperatures already 77 degrees, but fairly nice day. Maybe some storms rolling in later on tonight, but we are climbing possibly into the 80s today in Atlanta, which is very warm for this time of the year. And it's not just Atlanta that's warm. You can see, if you look at all these red dots here, these extend all the way from the Carolinas out to Louisiana and Arkansas. And places like Memphis and Charleston also forecast to get into the 80s today. And note, these temperatures are 15, 20, even 25 degrees above average for this time of the year. So that just means we are well above normal, well above where we would expect to be on our second or third day of spring. So this is what we're looking to get towards today. These are our record highs for today. And so you can see places like Athens, Georgia, our record high is 84 degrees for today. And we're looking to get towards 85. So definitely the potential of breaking that record. Same thing in Tupelo. The record is 84 and we're forecasted 84. So again, we are right at that potential to break some records. So again, these are all-time, the daily records. So this is hot for this time of the year. And so right now our temperatures are in the 80s across the majority of the southeast. There's Nashville sitting at 77. Raleigh, you're at 80. So again, we are looking to push that boundary into record potential. So very warm day today. But later on this week, complete change. Complete change. Raleigh, North Carolina, Wednesday our high is 58, and Thursday 53. I mean, this is a 30-degree temperature change in just 2 days. And so the reason for that is this high pressure that's sitting above the northeast. So let's take a look here. Look at all these purple and blue colors to the north. This is now Wednesday night, and temperatures you can see are kind of dropping a little bit. But these purple colors are trying to creep their way down into the southeast. And so look at this. Columbia, you're dropping into the 40s. This is now Thursday overnight into the morning hours. So that cold air mark trying to sneak its way down to the south. I mean, we could definitely see some colder mornings here. That will be a bit of a shock, being that it's something like 83 in Atlanta right now. It is sultry. Meanwhile, the West Coast is stormy still. Notice the clouds building again past the Golden Gate Bridge. We're seeing another round of moisture coming on into play. So there is a chance that we will see more rain before the day is done, including in and around the San Francisco Bay. San Jose has seen some showers as well. We can show you this on the radar picture. Earlier today, it was raining in San Francisco. So you've had a couple hours break. All that rain is a little bit further inland, a little bit further south. The wider view, though, shows you that onshore flow, and if this band, I should say, of precip can make its way a little bit further north, it'll go right back into the San Francisco area again. It's certainly not out of the question as we go through the rest of the day. Portland, you're out of the rain for the moment. Seattle, you're about to get a few more showers in on the mix. Here's why we're so unsettled. Our area of low pressure is still camped here. This is an upper-level low, kind of waves of instability pinwheeling around that, and then we have the jet stream funneling that instability towards the coast. So that's our storm path. That's kind of the conveyor belt for the storms. One storm system pushes east, moves in, but then the onshore flow behind it
still there, and that's what keeps us unsettled. So we're talking about lower elevation rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder in those kind of favored spots where you're right underneath that moisture plume. Tonight, more of the same. Another kind of enhanced round of rain potentially for San Francisco up through Redding and the northern portion of the Sacramento Valley. Tomorrow, on again, off again, rain showers, higher elevation snows. Notice, though, how far south this gets. LA included in on the mix, Alex. We are talking about rain for the entire I-5 corridor.
Wow, so it does rain in Southern California. All right, well, a dramatic scene unfolds in New York, and it's not what you may think. Why officers are dragging this teen across a wintry Central Park.
Want to take all your favorite shows to all your favorite places? Do you ever watch shows on the go?
Yes. With the Xfinity X1, you can download your favorites from anywhere. On demand, your DVR.
Oh, that's wonderful.
You can even stream top networks and live sports on the go.
I'm sold. I like this. This is awesome.
So how do you feel about DirecTV? Now I feel like I'm left out now. Well, come, be included. I'm definitely going to switch.
85% of people prefer Xfinity X1 to their current TV experience. Get a great offer on an X1 triple play from Comcast. Click, call, or visit an Xfinity store today.
Introducing Cologuard.
I'm here for an important reason. Colon cancer screening. If you're age 50 or older and at average risk, Cologuard finds cancer and pre-cancer. And it's a non-invasive test you can use at home. In fact, I'm as easy as get, go, gone. How do you get me? Your doctor orders me, and I'm delivered directly to your doorstep. There's no need for time off or special prep because I use the DNA in your stool to find colon cancer. Then you just go. I mean, collect your sample. Then I'm gone. Just ship me to the lab. Gotta go.
Cologuard is intended for individuals at average risk for colon cancer. Cologuard is not for high-risk individuals, including those with a history of colon cancer or polyps, IBD, certain hereditary cancer syndromes, or a family history of colon cancer. Cologuard, colon cancer screening that's as easy as get, go, gone. Ask your doctor if Cologuard is right for you.
It's amazing out there means that you could take what some might call a boring weather day, but find a lot of fascinating aspects. You can look up in the sky and there's something to learn about the clouds or about the precipitation that's falling every single day. There's a lot of amazing stuff happening out there.
Start your day with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno, opening the window to your weather on AMHQ. Mornings on the Weather Channel.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night, so he got home safe.
Yeah, my dad says their insurance doesn't have that.
What? You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Umbrellas! You need one of these. You wouldn't put up with an umbrella that covers you part way. So when it comes to pain relievers, why put up with just part of a day? Aleve. Live whole, not part.
They want to give it to you for half off.
Looking for a home service pro you know you can trust? For over 15 years, homeowners have trusted HomeAdvisor to find only the best home pros and do a thorough background check. So start every job at HomeAdvisor.
Cod Extravaganza is here at Long John Silver's. Try our new coastal beer battered cod. It's all natural Alaskan cod dipped into a golden beer batter for a twist on a classic flavor. The choice is yours, because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
More doing chores for mom, Pearl?
Bounty is more absorbent, so the roll can last 50% longer than the leading ordinary brand. So you get more life per roll. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Well, check this out. As it happens, after a 16-year-old youth slipped through the thin ice in New York Central Park, police officers used a ladder to pull him to safety. Now, the teen was reportedly blue when he was pulled from the icy water. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Now, this is the second time in as many days that people fell while walking on that thin ice. On Sunday, a pair of teens slipped through the ice but managed to get themselves out of the icy water. Yeah, it can be really dangerous. You just never know how thick that ice is, and clearly has not been thick enough there across Central Park. We've seen a couple of those incidents. All right, Pittsburgh right now, 50 degrees, looking pretty nice. Some sunshine out there for you with a few clouds overhead, but all is well here on this Tuesday. Now, we've seen some changes. February was certainly a mild time for a lot of areas. March, though, winter said, hey, I'm going to make a bit of a comeback. We certainly saw things cool down just a bit. In fact, here's the calendar for you in the month of March up through yesterday in Pittsburgh. And we're looking here at those numbers showing the average temperatures for the day. So we took the high for the day with the low for the day, and we averaged it. And that's what we've got here, those numbers showing up. Really, the takeaway is as you look at these values, you see the colorings. A lot more blues showing up on the calendars than oranges and reds. So there's been a lot more below average days than above average days. Much cooler March 2017, right? So here we are right now, well up into the 50s in Pittsburgh, getting close to 60 in D.C. We've got 40s up in the Bangor area, Burlington, 36. That's one of the cool spots here, at least on the map. As we get into the afternoon, temperatures could warm up a couple more degrees. I think Boston has a good shot at getting up to that 50 mark. Again, you hit that mark yesterday. Today, we're forecasting 52, 60 in Philly, and D.C. expected to get up to 64 for your afternoon high. Now, there are changes that will come right back in store here for us as we head into the mid part of the week. Look at the air mass that comes on in now. More blues and purple shades showing up. That's going to be cooler air, and we will notice it tomorrow. Look at the highs now. Teens across parts of New England and Pittsburgh. You're in the 50s now, but tomorrow, not even getting out of the 30s. Big difference, no doubt. All right, middle of the country, though, Dr. Navarro, could be dealing with some storms.
Yes, exactly. Some storms and some heat. So at the moment, saying hello to Oklahoma City. We're sitting at a nice 75 degrees today, and we're working towards a high in the 80s. But as Alex just mentioned, that chance for storms coming back into the forecast, not only tonight, but again, even late into the week and into the weekend. So Oklahoma City, one of these places that could be gearing up for some severe weather later on this week. So taking a look at your forecast, you can see those warm temperatures sticking around. And again, some wind coming into the area as we're watching the potential for some severe weather along this dry line with this next system that's coming in. So we're going to take a look at that in a moment. So this is our thunderstorm outlook for Thursday night. So again, this is a nighttime threat. So this is definitely something we want you to be looking out for and be prepared for. You can see that it's this northern part of Texas going up into Oklahoma and into Kansas and Nebraska. So be on the lookout for some thunderstorms Thursday night. Here's the pattern. We've got this next system now making its way into the Rockies. And so this system has a very impressive moisture contrast out ahead and then behind the system. We call that a dry line. And so right now there's still some uncertainty with how much moisture is going to be in that area. But we have those low-level winds which help to fuel this threat, as well as the strong upper-level forcing from the jet stream. So again, we have all of the ingredients in place, so it looks like we're setting up. And here's a look at that contrast. You can see those green colors very moist, but those brown colors right behind, very dry. And nature does not like to have those contrasts. So right along that line is where we would expect to see our action. And now this is for Friday. We can see the threat for some damaging wind, some hail, and possibly some localized rain. And it will be moving off to the east. Torcons of 3 right now out. Stay with us.
Come on. Can you believe this, cable guy? I took the day off for this. That's it. I give up. I'm taking a shower. No! Oh my goodness, I'm here! Seriously? An entire day wasted for this.
I hear you. Now let's change that.
Yes.
Stop waiting for the cable guy. Switch to Dish and get reliable 75-minute arrival windows. Dish, tuned into you.
I'm Chris, and I lost 120 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Listen up, guys. Want to shed a few pounds? Got a beer belly going on? Can't fit into your pants? Then you need Nutrisystem for men.
I'm Essex, and I lost 43 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I'm Trevor, and I lost 60 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Lose 15 pounds and 7 inches in your first month. Lose weight fast. Money back guarantee. Real guys, real results.
I'm Michael, and I lost 50 pounds on Nutrisystem.
Put down the pie, pick up the phone, and get with the program today. Get 1 week of all new Nutri-Crush bars free and 1 week of Turbo Shakes free.
The food was delicious.
If you're like me and you like to eat, this is what you get to do.
This is perfect for men, especially guys who don't want to cook.
So get off the couch, call or go online in the next 2 minutes, and we'll even throw in FedEx shipping. Free! Lose 15 pounds and 7 inches in your first month.
It's not that hard. You eat the food, you lose the weight.
Go online or call 888-608-DIET to get Nutrisystem for Men with bars and shakes free.
I think what's most exciting about the future of meteorology and the Weather Channel is that we're always going to give that little extra nugget about the science behind it that you can't get with a scroll of your finger, that little interesting tidbit to kind of spark an interest in somebody watching. Want even more from the Weather Channel? Join us at weloveweather.tv.
Attention Medicare beneficiaries. Many people with Medicare may be able to get extra benefits and don't even know they're available. You may be able to get dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drug coverage included in your plan. The Medicare Coverage Helpline is accepting calls to see if you're eligible to enroll now. You may be able to get extra benefits including dental, vision, and prescription drug coverage.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Buchwald. Making sure you go to the doctor and taking all your medications as prescribed can help protect your health. To make it easier, you may now be able to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that includes coverage for dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Help protect your health by choosing the right plan for you and get all the benefits you deserve.
Call to see if you may be able to get extra benefits including dental, vision, and prescription coverage. Don't delay. Call to see if you're eligible to enroll and may be able to get extra benefits now. Call 800-346-4800. That's 800-346-4800.
If you love the window seat, start your day opening the window to your weather with AMHQ. Mornings on the Weather Channel.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8, brought to you by Lexus. Experience the thrill of the Lexus Command Performance Sales Event, now through March 31st.
The Command Performance Sales Event is here. Experience exceptional offers on our most refined models ever.
Get up to $2,500 customer cash on select 2017 models for these terms.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Question, are my teeth yellow? Have you tried the tissue test? Oh, yellow. What do you use? Crest White Strips. Crest 3D White White Strips whiten 25 times better than a leading whitening toothpaste. I passed the tissue test. Oh, yeah. Crest White Strips are the way to whiten.
The Command Performance Sales Event is here. Experience exciting offers on our most elevated SUVs ever.
Get up to $2,500 customer cash on select 2017 models for these terms.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
It is warm out. The Southwest, I mean, it's nothing new. You've been in this streak since basically March began. It has been really, really warm. Phoenix, Santa Fe, both on your screen. Phoenix, you're going to be hitting 90 again today. You hit 96 yesterday. Our good buddy Alex here, not a fan of the heat. Phoenix, not the place for him. 96 in March. Santa Fe warmed into the 70s. You'll be in the 70s today, which is also plenty warm by Santa Fe standards, right? Let's look at Phoenix and the trend over the next couple of days. Plenty warm today, you'll hit 90, a little bit cooler tomorrow in the mid-80s, and then actually switching to a below-average temperature because of the chance for some rain showers. Short-lived, though. We go right back up to well above average temperatures by the weekend. And you know what? It's all relative, right? But so much of the West is above average. So much of the East is above average. So much of the world is above average. There is a definite trend. You can just feel the changes, right? And so here in the Southwest today, we're talking readings 10, 15, 20 degrees above average for you. In the deserts, that means it's going to be plenty warm. Phoenix is 90, Grand Junction close to 80, Cheyenne close to 60. All of those are above average temperatures. We're talking near records. It's not just warm, it's near record-breaking warm. Tucson should break your record, 91. In fact, Tucson is on quite the streak, and we'll talk about that in just a second. Salt Lake City, you should break your record for today as well. It's already plenty warm. Phoenix, you're already up to 84. Vegas is at 72. Salt Lake City, 67. Even in the rain in San Francisco, it's 61. So even the rain-cooled areas are still plenty toasty right now. Tomorrow, the southern third of the nation has the best chance of seeing the record-breaking temps. But here in the Southwest, it's El Paso at 90. Albuquerque at 81. Both of those should easily break your records. Phoenix at 85. You go up in elevation to Flagstaff, upper 50s. So some cooler air to be found if you climb into the mountains. Meanwhile, Tucson, I mentioned you because you've had 13 consecutive days with temperatures that are at least 15 degrees above average. That's enough of a streak, but how about this? Already 9 days at 90 degrees or higher in March. March not done yet. We're going to add to that today. We could add to that before the month is completely done. Dr. Navarro, this has been an exceptionally warm March in Tucson.
Yes, exactly. And over in Boulder, Colorado, we're checking in now after a fire yesterday, and the hard work has certainly paid off along the front of the Sunshine Fire. The crews have now contained the fire 100%, and the more than 400 residents that were forced to flee have now been allowed to return to their homes. And so now this fire blackened about 74 acres, and this was yesterday. So let's go ahead and check in on Boulder and see how things are faring. And you can see warm temperatures still in place and clear now, a lot of sunshine and dry conditions hanging out through the Thursday time frame. But right in on Friday, we can expect to see those temperatures drops and the rain beginning to come back into the forecast. So if we take a look at the dew point temperatures right now, this is a measure of how much moisture is in the air. The lower the number, the drier the conditions. And you can see that much of the northern plains is very dry. But out in Colorado, we're still in the 30s, so a little bit better than where we were. But later this week, we're hoping to put some rain right on top of that and helping to moisten that atmosphere again. So rain on the return mark in the Southwest.
That is some good news there. Thank you, Doctor. And you know what? He may be the hero Gotham deserves, but in this snowy city, he's the hero it needs. Coming up, how the Dark Knight played the role of White Knight to help a resident in need.
It's the flooring sale you've been waiting for. Empire Today's half-price sale. Get $2,400 of flooring for $1,200, $5,200 for an amazing $2,600. That's half the price of your entire purchase. Shop for carpet, hardwood, tile, vinyl, and laminate right from home and have it professionally installed. Don't miss Empire's half-price sale. Schedule now.
800-588-2300 Empire. Love. I got you, baby. It's being there when you're needed most. Love is knowing
He's the one.
it was meant to be. And love always keeps you safe.
We're fine.
Love is why we built a car you can trust, now and for a long time to come. The all-new Subaru Impreza sedan and 5-door. A car you can love, no matter what road you're on. The Subaru Impreza. More than a car, it's a Subaru.
When you have type 2 diabetes, there's a moment of truth. And now with Victoza, a better moment of proof.
Victoza lowers my A1C and blood sugar better than the leading branded pill, which didn't get me to my goal.
Lowers my A1C better than the leading branded injectable, the one I used to take.
and better than that diabetes pill I used to take. Victoza works with your body to lower blood sugar in 3 ways: in the stomach, the liver, and the pancreas. And while it isn't for weight loss, Victoza may help you lose some weight. Non-insulin Victoza comes in a pen and is taken once a day.
Victoza is not recommended as the first medication to treat diabetes and is not for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Victoza if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Victoza or any of its ingredients. Stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, or if you develop any allergic symptoms including itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. So stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you have severe pain in your stomach area. Tell your doctor your medical history. Taking Victoza with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. The most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. Side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
Now's the time for a better moment of proof. Ask your doctor about Victoza.
I want the most out of my health and life, so I trust Nature Made vitamins. Because they were the first to be verified by USP for quality and purity standards, and because I recommend them as a pharmacist.
Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand.
At Crown Plaza, we know business travel isn't just business. There's this. A bit of this. Why not? Your hotel should make it easy to do all the things you do, which is what we do. Crown Plaza. We're all business. Mostly.
I'm proud of what the Weather Channel is. It's a place you can turn to and trust.
Our team's taking you into the storm with live reports and expertise you won't get anywhere else.
We are meteorologists, and that makes a tremendous difference.
When it comes to a weather situation that warrants attention, we're the place to go. It's that simple.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Isn't it time to hear the sounds you love without having to reach for the remote? Call 1-800-BELTONE for a free hearing screening. It's time to hear it all. Call 1-800-BELTONE today.
Well, how about this? The Cape Crusader hanging up the batarangs and picking up a shovel? That's right. He was captured helping out a person shovel some snow in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Yeah, after some hard work, they ended up clearing this person's car. I have to say, though, if this was the real Batman...
What do you mean, if?
Well, I'm telling you, if this was the real Batman...
What do you mean, if?
He would not have needed help. He would have done it by himself. But he makes this guy scoop out his own car.
Well, he also brought him a coffee.
What's in the coffee is my question.
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to, Alex.
All right, here we are, half past the hour here on Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Alex Wallace.
I'm meteorologist Mark Elliott. An active week, severe storms today and again later this week.
I'm Dr. Erica Navarro, and we're going to be taking a close look at that threat in a bit. But first, a severe threat for the southeast.
Yeah, you know, today, stretching from southwest Missouri all the way into the western Carolinas, that includes Memphis. In fact, a couple of the high-resolution models hinting that Memphis could kind of be the beginning point where some of these storms fire off later today.
Yes, exactly. We are seeing possibly the threat for some damaging winds and some hail in the forecast. Let's take it over to Alex to get more on that threat for today.
And you know, it's pretty amazing how quickly that shot there at Memphis has changed. We were looking at that maybe an hour ago, and it was perfect blue skies. Well, now things have changed quite a bit. as things have clouded up just a tad. Where the shower and thunderstorm activity is right now, basically Missouri, and trying to move and sneak into the northwest sections of the state of Tennessee and far southwest sections of the state of Kentucky. We've seen some severe warnings here and there. Mostly the threats with those storms have been some of the heavy downpours, lightning, and hail. We have seen some reports coming in, particularly in the Springfield area, of hail sizes getting up into that inch and a half range. So right around quarter-size hail in these areas in Missouri. So let's follow our cluster. There it is right now, beginning to now pull and push east. Northwest parts of, again, Tennessee starting to see some of that heavier downpour action, and a few more clouds now spreading across the Mississippi. That's what you saw there in the Memphis area. Nashville as well, you'll start to see things clouding up, and then we will see some of those storms. I think the storm threat shifts just north of Memphis here, at least the bigger storms. Moves through Nashville, Chattanooga, North Georgia, maybe even around the Atlanta area. Late this evening could be dealing with some storms. Then moving into the western parts of the Carolinas. Heads up around the Asheville area, down towards Greenville, Spartanburg. Could be stormy tonight, and then everything begins to move off the coast as we move through the overnight hours into our Wednesday morning. But not before we see some of the hailstones. Again, the highest risk for dealing with an inch or greater hail anywhere in that pink. And you can see that south of Nashville sliding down into far north Georgia, and even surrounding that. Even though the risk is going to be low to medium, that doesn't mean it's zero. So Columbia, Charlotte, not out of the question to see some big, at least inch-size hail for you. The threat for damaging winds, highest right in that general zone that we saw the highest risk for even the hail. So watch out again, just south of Nashville, heading down towards Murfreesboro, Chattanooga, and then just north of the Atlanta area there. So a lot to track here with some of these storms here this afternoon and getting into the evening. But let's find out about this hail and how that all forms with Dr. Navarro.
Yeah, thanks so much, Alex. And as he mentioned, hail, one of the bigger threats with this system that's moving in. So let's break it down for you and talk a little bit more about how these hailstones form. And so within our thunderstorm, we have this region of rising air, and this air is very warm. It wants to go upwards in the atmosphere because it's lighter than the air near the ground. And so these updrafts at times can exceed 100 miles per hour. So these can be quite strong. And so now, embedded in this warm air are these tiny water droplets, and as this air rises through the atmosphere, it cools off, and it cools so much that these water droplets actually freeze. And so here they are surging upwards in this updraft, and there's a lot of other water droplets in the area. And so all these frozen hailstones basically have bumper cars, and they run into each other, and often they can merge and form larger stones, and that's how we get these hailstones. And so they continue to grow, and sometimes they get so big that they're too heavy for the clouds to hold, and so they fall right out of the cloud. And so again, the stronger the updraft, the more and the larger these hailstones we could get. So that's an indication of how strong the storm is based on how big that hail is. And so the largest hail that we've ever seen, 8 inches across, 8 inches in diameter, which is huge. And so the updraft needed to support that was probably around 150 miles an hour, which is like hurricane force winds. So again, very large, definitely not something you want to be outside when that's in the area. And so how much wind do you need to be creating hail? On the smaller end for pea-sized hail, so this is pretty tiny, updrafts around 35 miles per hour can produce that kind of hail. But you can see that as our wind speeds go higher and higher, the bigger and bigger those hailstones actually get. So right around 100 miles per hour, that's where you start seeing softball-sized hail. And again, Mark, that is not something that I'm sure I want to experience at any point. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I actually did experience that once in the plains, and it was going sideways because of the wind, which is never good because your side windows are not as reinforced as the front window, and that size hail can do damage to the front window as well. You might be dealing with some of those types of scenarios through the rest of the week. We've got a setup here in the plains that'll start off really Thursday evening with another round of severe weather from West Kansas straight on down through West Texas. That includes Lubbock, it includes Dodge City. Let's go through the ingredients as they come together. Number one, we're going to have some moisture returning into the center of the country. That said, it's been really dry in the southwest, and that dry air will be moving in that boundary known as a dry line. That dry line will act like a mini cold front, if you will, picking up the moisture from the Gulf, turning it into clouds as showers and eventually storms. The jet stream winds, the low-level winds, out ahead of that dry line coming out of the south, almost due south. Then we go up in elevation a bit, and up in the atmosphere, the upper level winds are coming out of the southwest. So a really big change of wind direction. But you notice they're not really on top of each other. The best winds are removed and behind that dry line. So that's a bit of a limiting factor for seeing a lot of spin in the atmosphere, although there should be enough. There should be enough shear, enough change in wind direction with height that storms will form along that dry line and then start to move east into that more moist, more unstable air. Thursday evening starts off the western side of the plains. By Friday, we're talking Oklahoma, Oklahoma City, Tulsa, maybe eventually Kansas City. The Dallas-Fort Worth area will have that dry line plunging through as well. The area of low pressure itself is going to be lagging back up here, and there will be that spin around our low. That provides some lift, some cold air aloft, and so because of that, we have this area of severe weather. We have our dry line-induced storms in this area, and then all of those move east through the day. So that's why this is the kind of the shape of our severe weather potential for Friday. Saturday, our area of low pressure moves even a little bit further east. I will mention there is a tornado threat on Friday as well, about a 3 out of 10 on the Torcon. Saturday, everything slides further east, but our low actually goes up and away a bit. So now we're talking more of the storms along the front itself. And so we lose some of that tongue, right, of severe weather. But still, a large red area on the map for Saturday, basically right over the Mississippi River Valley. So a place like Little Rock, Friday night storms that could continue into Saturday morning. Then Sunday gets a lot better. Alex, over to you.
And out ahead of those storms, very warm conditions. Yes, look at the temperatures we've got for today. And look at the dots that are showing them, essentially covering the entire southeast. When you start to get to the red dots, that's 15, at least 15 degrees above average. Memphis, Atlanta, Charleston, all spots that'll be getting up into the 80s and again, well above average. Right now, look at where we stand. Pretty much widespread 80s across the deep south. A little cooler in Nashville at 77 degrees. Down around Tampa and Miami, in fact, those are some of the cooler spots on the map. 76 in Tampa compared to that 77 in Nashville. Highs for the day again, getting up into the 80s. Looks like Jackson there in Mississippi should top out right around 86 degrees. We've got 81 now in Raleigh. That's a little bit warmer than we initially thought. And you start getting that far above average, record potential is there for us. Columbus, how about breaking the record by 2 degrees? Athens, home of the University of Georgia. Looks like we could be breaking that record by a degree if we get to 85.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jim.
What's going on?
I was just looking for a movie on Xfinity X1. Show me movies about weather.
Sweet. How the heck did you do that?
It's the new X1 voice remote from Xfinity. You just say it and then you see it.
Here, let me try this. Show me the Weather Channel.
Are in for a lot of rain. For more on this, let's go to Jim Cantori in the lab. Jim?
Show me in the lab.
That's not how it works. Keep up with the weather and so much more with Xfinity X1.
What's it like to be in good hands? Like finding new ways to be taken care of.
Home, car, life insurance, obviously. Oh.
But with added touches you can't get everywhere else, like claim-free rewards?
Or safe driving bonus checks. Oh, yes.
Even a claim satisfaction guarantee.
In means protection plus unique extras. Only from an expert Allstate agent.
It's good to be in good hands.
I had frequent heartburn, but my doctor recommended Prilosec OTC 7 years ago.
5 years ago, last week. Just 1 pill each morning, 24 hours, and 0 heartburn.
It's been the #1 doctor recommended brand for 10 straight years, and it's still recommended today.
Use as directed.
Natural Bliss believes creamers should not be watery. That's why our new coconut milk creamer is deliciously creamy. Made from Sumatran coconuts and irresistible flavor. All natural, just got delicious. New Natural Bliss Coconut Milk Creamer. Stir things up.
When you're close to the people you love, does psoriasis ever get in the way of a touching moment? If you have moderate to severe psoriasis, you can embrace the chance of completely clear skin with Taltz. Taltz is proven to give you a chance at completely clear skin. With Taltz, up to 90% of patients had a significant improvement of their psoriasis plaques. In fact, 4 out of 10 even achieved completely clear skin. Do not use if you are allergic to Taltz. Before starting, you should be checked for tuberculosis. Taltz may increase your risk of infections and lower your ability to fight them. Tell your doctor if you are being treated for an infection or have symptoms, or if you have received a vaccine or plan to. Inflammatory bowel disease can happen with Taltz, including worsening of symptoms. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Now's your chance at completely clear skin. Just ask your doctor about Taltz.
Cod Extravaganza is here at Long John Silver's. Try our new Coastal Beer Battered Cod. It's all-natural Alaskan cod dipped into a golden beer batter for a twist on a classic flavor. The choice is yours. Because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
Just like the people who own them, every business is different. But every one of those businesses will need legal help as they age and grow. Whether it be with customer contracts, agreements to lease a space, or protecting your work, LegalZoom's network of attorneys can help you every step of the way. So you can focus on what you do, and we'll handle the legal stuff that comes up along the way. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
Average work pants versus a giant angry beaver. Duluth Trading Fire Hose work pants versus a giant angry beaver. Duluth Trading Fire Hose work pants. Tougher than an angry beaver's teeth. Get a pair. Only at DuluthTrading.com.
The sneezing, the coughing, it is no fun. This is when the growing warmth comes and all too familiar sounds of the season there, right? Thanks to allergies. Across the South, many trees, they have bloomed and blossomed. Plants too. As a result, whoa, places like Atlanta, notorious for dealing with the pollen, well, those counts now above 1,500 for the day, the highest we've seen this season. We had a couple of days back in February, got pretty high, but no doubt 1,500 plus today, the highest. The scale essentially goes to very high, and very high is anything above 1,500. We've gotten to that mark in Atlanta. Very high there, thanks to tree pollen. High in Dallas as well, and it's thanks to tree pollen in Charleston, also in that high range. Also, a lot of areas here that are dealing with the high category here, at least high counts. Tree pollen here for you across the nation. You can see even across parts of the Southwest, getting into Texas, sliding across the rest of the South. Anywhere you see the shades of orange, red, that's where we're in that high to very high category. And even creeping up into parts of the Ohio Valley, starting to see more low to moderate readings in those areas. So that's the tree pollen. As far as grass pollen is concerned, those levels are starting to creep up a bit. Northern Florida getting into Texas here for us, but as we get closer to summer, that's where grass pollen tends to take over out there for you. Weed pollen, not seeing much of a problem here across the country. That tends to take over once we get into the fall season. Mark?
So the temperatures have been climbing in the south. Your allergy issues have been climbing as well. Joining us now is Dr. Stan Feinman with the Atlanta Allergy and Asthma Clinic. Doc, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So, number one, your website shows a pollen count for the Atlanta metro of 1,549. What does that mean? What does it mean that this is so high and so early?
Well, what that means is that there are that many grains of pollen in the air, in the cubic meter of air for a 24-hour period. And what it means for patients who have pollen allergies is that they're likely to have symptoms of sneezing, itchy eyes, itchy nose, nasal congestion, and a lot of times they just feel miserable.
Have you seen an uptick in patients coming in and complaining about their allergy symptoms, either by full numbers or just earlier in the season? Because things seem to bloom really early this year.
This year is an unusual year in this area because we had very high pollen counts in February. We had warmer weather, we had high pollen counts, and people started to have symptoms even in mid-February. And then it got colder, And earlier this month, we didn't have very high pollen counts, but now we're seeing the high pollen counts again. And what happens to patients is that they get a condition called priming. And priming occurs when you have an exposure to an allergen, then the exposure goes away, but the patient is still sensitized. And so when they're re-exposed, they're in a position to have an even more of an allergic reaction when they're re-exposed to that allergen. And I think we're seeing that in patients because people are complaining about that now.
We have about 30 seconds left, but I mean, there's different ways to combat this. There's the over-the-counter pills, there's prescription pills, there's shots. What do you tell patients that come to see you?
Well, the first of all is get an accurate diagnosis. Go to an allergist, get a skin test, find out what exactly you're allergic to. Then they can help you develop a plan, and the plan may mean some over-the-counter medication, may mean allergen immunotherapy or allergy shots, which is really a very effective disease-modifying type treatment that helps people develop a tolerance, so when they're re-exposed to the allergens, they don't have the same symptoms year after year.
And then, you know, when it comes to a day like this, when it's such at a high level, do you ever just tell your patients, don't go outside on a day that it's this high?
Well, in fact, we do recommend that the patients follow the pollen count, and we do recommend that because when it is this high, it's better to do your exercise indoor, limit your activity outdoors, and make sure when you do come inside, you take your shoes off, you wash your hair, you change your clothes before you go into the bedroom. Do those kind of, basically, try to get rid of the pollen that's on your body.
All right, that is Dr. Stan Feinman with the Atlanta Allergy and Asthma Clinic. Side note, I'll be there for my yearly checkup in a couple months because I get allergy shots too. I'm like the rest of the country right now, fighting through it. So thanks for joining us today. The weather has a huge role, as you heard the doc explaining. The warm temperatures means everything's blooming. Try to limit that outdoor time if you can, and talk to an allergist if you need one.
You got a Swiffer.
No more kinking, leaking, popping hoses. Introducing the Metal Garden Hose, the world's toughest hose. It's compact, lightweight, flexible, and even tangle-free. Stands up to any rose bush. It's puncture-proof. Look, it pushes the nails out of the way. It's abrasion-proof, even puppy-proof. Made of 304 stainless steel, it's UV resistant, cool to the touch, and corrosion resistant. Call the number on your screen or go to metalgardenhose.com. Call now.
There's an opportunity in every window. A view connecting in here to an entire world of out there. So start your day opening the window to your weather with AMHQ. Watch Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno looking out at the stories and the science behind your forecast. Open up your mornings with AMHQ on the Weather Channel.
Can tile fake you out? Well, that wood in the shower is tile. That 1,000-pound brick island? Nope, tile. That pricey Italian marble? not pricey, not marble. You see where this is going. This is the next generation of tile, and it's at the Home Depot. So when your friends start touching your new tile, you'll know, yeah, this tile's for real. Get Vita Elegante porcelain tile starting at $199 a square foot. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
I was thinking super glue brush.
I like the nozzle.
Brush.
Nozzle.
So
nozzle?
Gorilla super glue, brush and nozzle.
Of course.
Brush for edge-to-edge coverage and nozzle for precise application all in one for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Yes.
Tonight we boldly go where no man, woman, or child has gone, well, for a good while now. Tonight we shake hands with pots and pans and take things step by step. Tonight we discover the past life of chicken fingers and find a new gravy boat in our trusty old mug. Tonight we cook, delivering delicious ingredients you'll love to eat, simple recipes you'll live to cook. HelloFresh, get cooking.
With the Travelocity Customer First Guarantee, your only worry will be how to drink this monstrosity.
Get help with hotels, free 24-hour flight changes, and our price match guarantee.
Travelocity. Wander wisely.
Your paycheck. Your family depends on it. But if something happened to you, you need life insurance. And chances are SelectQuote can get it for you for under $1 a day.
SelectQuote found Alec, 38, a $500,000 policy for under $23 a month. SelectQuote found Kenesha, 37, a $750,000 policy for $19 a month.
SelectQuote's secret? They impartially shop a select group of highly rated companies like these for your best rates. Give your family the security it needs at a price you can afford.
Since 1985, SelectQuote has saved over 1 million families millions of dollars on life insurance. Call now, 800-311-6499, or go to SelectQuote.com. Discover what over 1 million families already know. We shop, you save.
Start your day with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno, opening the window to your weather on AMHQ. Mornings on the Weather Channel.
Well, welcome back. Checking in on St. Louis, where things have clouded up a bit. In fact, earlier today it was a little more hazy. Then we saw more blue sky. Now a bit more cloud cover in play for you at this hour. Temperatures right around 54 degrees for us right now. We've got sort of a temperature roller coaster on tap here for us in and around the city. We're sort of warming up a bit for today, then we'll drop down, then warm right back up. There's the story here in St. Louis, temperature-wise at least. Your average high is 58. Today, maybe 60s. We'll see if we get to that mark. But tomorrow, 50 is all we are expected to manage. Then we are on the rise by Friday, ending the week at 72 degrees, way above average. And even despite a 10-degree cool down between your Friday and Saturday, will still be above average for the day. So it's an up and down pattern here for us in the temperature department right now. Much chillier as you get into the upper Midwest. That's where we're finding temperatures just above the freezing mark in Minneapolis, Des Moines at 37. We've actually seen a bit of snow move its way across parts of Iowa. Then we slide our way off towards the south and the east, and that's where we get into some of that milder air. 58, Indianapolis, sliding over towards Cleveland, 56, and Cincinnati, 55 degrees for you. Highs for the day, a couple more hours here of maybe a little warming to go through. So Kansas City should top out maybe around 61 degrees. A far cry from Marquette, there in the UP of Michigan, 21. That's all you're going to manage for your day. Really chilly stuff there across the upper Midwest, at least at this time. Then we get into the warmer stuff farther to the south. So here's the setup heading into the mid part of the week. Big ridge here that's been in place southwest into Texas. I mean, we've seen summer-like temperatures, 90s in some cases out there for us. Well, we'll watch that ridge shift a bit towards the east. Probably won't see 90s in the mid-south and the Midwest, but certainly going to be a milder time as we head towards sort of that end of the week. So this is tomorrow where we do bring in some cooler air around the Great Lakes. So Chicago, only 35 degrees expected for tomorrow, 31 in Alpena, with Omaha right around 48. And there could be a little bit of a stripe of snow to deal with the eastern parts of the Dakotas. Wichita for you, 56 degrees, but some big changes come for you in Wichita. Look, we go from tomorrow into our Thursday, and now look at Wichita, near 80 for the day. So big warm up taking place across the plains. That's out ahead of some of those storms that could be strong to severe in the western part of the state. And then we've got some showery weather across the rest of the Midwest. Minneapolis, 42 for the day with a bit of rain. Mark?
And the West Coast and the storm path in the west continues to be robust, right? Look at the water getting up to near the picnic tables there. This is in Portland, and the parks lining the Columbia River. The recent rain has pushed that river to 16 feet. It's about a half foot above flood stage and could continue to rise because of the showers and storms that are coming through the western United States. Let's take a look now at that storm path that's coming into the West Coast. It does include rain that is falling over the Columbia River Gorge right now. Portland itself is dry, but hey, it's the watershed, right? All that water eventually makes it into the river. That river's running high, and so we could still have some flooding concerns and an increasing flooding concern because of that fairly persistent storm path. Now, speaking of the persistent rains, we're still looking at that just south of Monterey, up towards the I-5 corridor, and then eventually getting into the higher elevations where we get an added lift and thus added precip. Now, in this case, because the cold air is there as well, we're also talking snow. Some of these snowfall totals are going to be fairly impressive when all is said and done. In and around Truckee, it looks like we're going to top out close to 18 inches of snow. This is through Sunday, mind you, so we've got a few days of this stormy pattern to add up. Some of the highest peaks could easily get to that 18 to 24 inches of snow, right? We're talking 2 feet plus when all is said and done through the rest of this week. The the valleys here, Tahoe Valley, is still getting up to high temperatures in the low 40s. So there will be some mixing. You'll be cold enough to refreeze at night, some slick spots on the roads, and some snow showers during the nighttime hours and the early morning hours before changing back to rain. But again, if you go into those higher peaks, it'll be all about the snow. So that's the trend today. Lower elevation rain, maybe some rumbles of thunder. Higher elevation snow will continue. That continues tonight, and more snow, right? The snow levels drop a bit as we go into the nighttime hours. Notice how far south this precip gets. We're talking rain into LA. Rain into portions of Arizona, maybe some thunderstorms there as well. So snow still to come through the higher peaks, eventually into the Intermountain West by late tomorrow as some of that energy moves inland. Rain still to come, an important part of the story too. Maybe some more flooding concerns over northern portions of the Sacramento Valley, the localized flooding near the coast where there could be some more robust totals. Thanks for watching this edition of Weather Center Live. Liana and Chris coming up next, along with Carl Parker.
Today on Weather Center Live, a line of storms with strong winds and damaging hail racing through the south this evening. The spots most at risk for these dangerous storms.
And that storm threat doesn't end tonight, ahead of where the possibility of storms lingers later this week and into the weekend. All this and more straight ahead.
It's now the top of the hour. This is Weather Center Live. I'm meteorologist Chris Warren.
And I'm meteorologist Liana Brackett. We are tracking dangerous storms that are firing up right now. They are pushing east and will affect a lot of people in the south. And we're going to take you live to a couple spots on the left. Look at the large hail that slammed Indianapolis yesterday. And on the right, live look at Nashville. That is one of the spots that risk of seeing 1 inch or larger hail with today's storms, and that's not the only dangers you need to watch out for. Let's send it over to Chris for more on what to expect and when.
And we're going to start off with a look at the threat area. Again, this is for today, so through this evening and tonight. Big area with the threat for thunderstorms. It's this red area. We're going to watch storms develop from here where they are now and go this way. Nashville, Chattanooga, Tennessee, Huntsville, Alabama, and then eventually close to Atlanta over to Greenville, South Carolina, and Asheville as well, in it for some storms. Now, as far as the threats go, what kind of threat we're dealing with here, this is a look at where there could be 1 inch or greater hail. So large hail that can do some damage, put some dents in your cars here. And this goes from north of Atlanta all the way back here south of Nashville. Medium chance in a lot of areas surrounding that high chance for large hail. Also, the damaging wind threat here, some of the same areas. So really getting the idea here that parts of southern and central Tennessee into northern Alabama and Georgia in it for potentially some of the stronger storms. Here's where the storms are right now, and right where Missouri comes into northeast Arkansas, into Kentucky, southern Illinois, and into Tennessee right now. We're watching these showers and these storms as they're developing. A closer look, some of the stronger storms now well to the west of Nashville, but they are moving that way, already passing through Union City, Dyersburg as well, also seeing the storms. There's lightning associated with this, and that's another factor that we need to talk about going through the course of this evening. Here's Tuesday at 4 o'clock, and this is the future radar. So it's today, and here's Nashville right around 6 o'clock. We're going to be watching the storms rolling through, possibly some damaging winds coming through later this evening into Chattanooga and then into South Carolina and North Carolina. Here's Charlotte, midnight tonight, about 12:30 to 1. Watch for storms. Columbia, South Carolina, also expecting to see some showers and storms. That's through 9 o'clock in the morning, and now let's take a look and show you hour by hour in Nashville over the next 12 hours. It's really going to be an evening time period here into later on tonight. It's going to be the hit and miss storm. So while we're on the air over the next 3 hours, keep you updated on what to expect here in Nashville. Liana?
Cool down coming up for the southeast, not just with those storms, but behind those storms. So here we go. We have that cold front that is pushing further south with that low pressure system today. As we get through late this week, we're going to have high pressure that settles in a little bit further to the north, and that's going to be bringing in some cooler air. Now, we also have the position of seeing a wedge set up as we get through late this week. So how we get it, and it's really fascinating because the actual low pressure system or the high pressure system is actually going to be right in the same area. So this is almost textbook version of how we get this wedge. We have cold air aloft. Cold air is very dense, so cold air actually sinks to the ground. Warm air rises, cold air falls. So it's going to stay closer to the ground. It's actually going to hug the area right next to the Appalachian Mountains. Those mountains act as a dam, and it's going to keep a lot of the colder air to the east. Now, as we get through, we do have, here's a look at the temperatures. So starting off with Wednesday afternoon, we're seeing temperatures in the 70s for Columbia, Atlanta, Macon at 74, 69 for Charleston. But watch as we get through late Wednesday night and into Thursday. Really watch how cold it gets. Now we're talking 36 in Charlotte, 31 in Raleigh, 29 in Roanoke. Contrast that to 48 in Atlanta, 52 in Macon, and 43 in Columbia. So that's what you can expect for right there. And here's a look at the temperatures for the highs on Thursday. So still very warm across the area. Carl?
Well, Liana, we are looking for a late week severe threat as a very potent storm is now coming into the west and will move out into the southern plains coming up later in the week. That's going to be Thursday and into Friday. You can see this thing on the water vapor image just very, very clearly right now, right in there. Very well-defined spin in the atmosphere, and we've got stronger mid-level and upper-level winds that are coming out associated with that. Here is a look at the severe setup for Tuesday, and these strong mid-level winds begin to to interact with low-level warmth and humidity coming off the Gulf of Mexico. Now, it's going to be rather limited early on here. That's right along the dry line there in West Texas. We're going to see just a little bit of moisture, just enough to give us some severe storms, but that's one of the questions in the forecast. And then you see the upper-level winds getting a little bit stronger, starting to come out on Thursday, but really coming out late on Thursday, and that's when we expect that severe threat to develop. On Friday, there's no question about those things getting together. You've got that humid flow coming off the Gulf of Mexico, very strong mid-level winds overhead, some wind shear in the atmosphere, winds changing direction and speed as you go up through the atmosphere, and that's going to give us a tornado risk in addition to a threat for very large hail and damaging wind. And then on Saturday, we'll see more of the same, though the upper low is going to be weakening by that time, so we're not going to see quite as much of that deep layer shear as it moves over into the lower Mississippi Valley. So putting all of that together, what we've got is a severe threat on Thursday night in a rather limited area, a very narrow slice there for potential severe weather on Thursday. Then on Friday, that area is going to expand. That's when we see more of that deep layer shear getting together with plenty of moisture coming off the Gulf of Mexico. So Houston, right up through the 45 corridor, as well as into Arkansas and Louisiana. Watch out for possible severe storms. And we've got a tornado risk, 3 out of 10 on the Torcon, centered in northeast Texas, northwestern parts of Louisiana, and southwestern parts of Arkansas. Liana, over to you.
We're going more in depth on the severe weather impacting you as we head through the weekend. We're timing it out for you and highlighting the spots most at risk for tornadoes and damaging winds as we head into the first week of spring. So stay with us. We'll be right back after the break.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night.
Hold on, Dad. Liberty did what?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual 24-hour roadside assistance helped him to fix his flat so he could get home safely.
My dad says our insurance doesn't have that. Don't worry, I know what a lug wrench is, Dad. Is this a lug wrench?
Maybe. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Every home is unique. That's why I rely on science. You called about termites?
Come on in.
Got it. How long have they been doing this?
Since they felled them. Hey, where'd you see that termite? By the wood pile.
Oh, those logs can attract termites. Don't worry. Using research from our entomologists, I'll create a termite protection plan that's not only backed by Orkin, but backed by science.
She's bobbing the log, you know what I mean? You bob that log, Candace!
The average family's hectic home. It's raised 1 daredevil, 2 dynamic DIY duos, and an entrepreneur named Sharon. It's witnessed 31 crashes, 4 food fights, and the flood of '09. It's your paradise perfected with Behr Premium Plus low odor paint. The best you can buy starting under $25. Unbelievable quality, unbeatable prices. Only at the Home Depot.
It's amazing out there to me means, just the beauty of what is around us. A beautiful sunrise, waves crashing on the beach, enjoying that first snowfall of the season, watching a tornado spin in the plains of Oklahoma. To me, that's what it's amazing out there is.
If you love the window seat, start your day opening the window to your weather with AMHQ, mornings on the Weather Channel.
extravaganza is here at Long John Silver's. Try our new coastal beer battered cod. It's all natural Alaskan cod dipped into a golden beer batter for a twist on a classic flavor. The choice is yours. Because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
At Crown Plaza, we know business travel isn't just business. There's this. A bit of this. Why not? Your hotel should make it easy to do all the things you do, which is what we do. Crown Plaza. We're all business. Mostly.
I did it. I joined eHarmony. Yeah, I can get my own dates.
How's that going?
Oh! Yeah! Sign me up.
Stop waiting. Start communicating for free today.
Jay Bush and Duke here. When I'm in the mood for hot dogs and burgers, I go with the classic taste of Bush's baked beans. But I'm feeling bolder, so I go for the robust flavor of Bush's grillin' beans. They're a perfect match for steaks and chops.
Dude, I like this new wild side.
Bush's Beans. Whatever your mood, we've got a bean for you.
This is Weather Center Live, and this is a live look at Nashville. 73 degrees, still warming, and still looking and waiting for those storms to roll your way, Nashville. So we're looking right now at some of the specific city timing, and we're going to take a look at some of the areas in red here. We're going to watch the storms develop here and then through time move in this direction across the south and potentially impacting some of the bigger cities here in these southern U.S. states. So taking a closer look now specifically at what's going on. Here's a look at where the storms are right now, parts of Missouri and into Kentucky and Tennessee. And then through time, we're going to watch this continue to track to the east and to the south. Focusing in now on Nashville, here's a look at those storms with all the lightning associated with it and the view showing you what's happening as far as the high resolution future radar goes. So at one computer shows us the storms are going to do through time and where they're going to go. 2 o'clock Central Time, watching these storms develop as we are right now. Then eventually by 5 o'clock, possibly even a little bit before 5 o'clock, some storms rolling through Nashville. And that chance for storms still with us here in Nashville. It's 6 o'clock, even 7, and then not ending until 8 o'clock. But the threat for some scattered showers afterwards during the overnight hours still remains a possibility. But the stronger storms likely a little bit earlier. Here's now Chattanooga, Huntsville, Alabama, and watching those storms blossoming and developing also in that 4 to 5 o'clock time frame here. About the same time or a little bit after, we're going to see them roll through Nashville and then eventually into North Georgia here, getting very close to Atlanta. So we do have a look at more storms in the coming days. Let's go to the lab right now, and storm specialist Carl Parker keeping an eye on that. Hi, Carl.
Chris, a lot of opportunity for severe weather in the coming days, and what's really interesting about that is the relationship to sea surface temperatures in the Pacific. And when we take a look at sea surface temperature anomalies right now, you notice that it is above average through most of the Pacific Basin. That's the case actually across most of the planet, but it's below average right now in the northern part of the Pacific. That's not a big surprise because the storm track was generally right across the Pacific through the course of the winter. And that brought down successive areas of cool air, cooling that water. Well, there's a very good relationship between sea surface temperature anomalies and the air temperature, and so it is generally now cooler across a lot of the North Pacific. And you've got this tremendous contrast between the cool air right here and the very warm, very humid air that is farther to the south. And when you have a contrast like that, you tend to have a stormier pattern, which is exactly what we're seeing. Very strong jet stream now out across the Pacific and a whole series of storms coming through. There's one, here's another one, there's another one, and there's another one. So as these storms make their way across the Pacific, they come into the West Coast and eventually into the U.S. And when they have warm and humid air to work with, that sets the stage for severe weather. So here's the first of those dips right in there coming in, and there's the warm and humid air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. So that's our severe weather breaking out on Thursday, and then we'll find more of the same on Friday in parts of Texas and Louisiana, and again going into Sunday. Then, Saturday. Then on Sunday, another little wiggle comes through, and again, there's some warm and humid air for that system to work with. So we will once again see a severe threat. And then moving into the early part of next week, here's another big upper low right there, and the warm and humid air feeding up and into that system. So that'll bring us some severe weather, most likely in the southern plains on Monday, and that's going to move a little farther east going into Tuesday into parts of the southeast. So all this severe weather directly related to what's going on with water temperatures now in the northern part of the Pacific. Liana, over to you.
Thanks, Carl. Just ahead, we'll focus on the severe wind threat and where it could leave you without power, plus the areas at biggest risk for damage, all ahead after your local on the 8s.
When you have moderate to severe ulcerative colitis, the unpredictability of a flare may weigh on your mind. Thinking about what to avoid, where to go, and how to work around your UC. That's how I thought it had to be. But then I talked to my doctor about Humira and learned Humira can help get and keep UC under control when certain medications haven't worked well enough.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Raise your expectations and ask your gastroenterologist if Humira may be right for you. With Humira, control is possible.
Here you go, little guy. A cockroach can survive submerged underwater for 30 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Not getting in today. Not on my watch.
Pests never stop trying to get in. We never stop working to keep them out. Terminix, defenders of home.
I thought I married an Italian.
My lineage was the Vecchios and Zuccolis. Through ancestry to the DNA, I found out that I was only 16% Italian.
He was 34% Eastern European. So I went on to Ancestry, soon learned that one of our ancestors we thought was Italian was Eastern European.
This is my ancestor I didn't know about. He looks a little bit like me, yes.
Ancestry has many paths to discovering your story. Get started for free at Ancestry.com.
It's amazing out there. It means that you could take what some might call a boring weather day, but find a lot of fascinating aspects. You can look up in the sky and there's something to learn about the clouds or about the precipitation that's falling. Every single day, there's a lot of amazing stuff happening out there.
Hey, I'm Ty Pennington, and I've got a simple question for you. Are you paying too much for your mortgage? Well, you won't know for sure until you check with Guaranteed Rate. You can do it right now. It's that easy. With Guaranteed Rate's digital mortgage, you can choose from today's lowest rate, check your free credit scores, and even get approved online. Anytime, anywhere. All in just minutes, at no cost to you. Lowering your mortgage payment could save you thousands of dollars. Just take a few minutes right now to see how much you could save.
We were going to rent. That was the going-in plan, but the rate was so low at Guaranteed Rate that we ended up buying.
Whether you're buying a new home or refinancing your current home, get a low, low rate from Guaranteed Rate. Visit rate.com right now to find out how much you could save. Call 1-888-557-1555 or visit rate.com.
Start your day with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, and Jen Carfagno, opening the window to your weather on AMHQ. Mornings on the Weather Channel.
All right, now this is Weather Center Live, and we are tracking storms right now moving through parts of the Mississippi River Valley into Tennessee and Kentucky right now. With this, there is a threat for hail, some large hail, a possibility with this, and we are getting some reports already into the Weather Channel. Diamond nickel size hail being reported here for some areas. In fact, here's a look at the storm reports that we are getting. We're going to show you the broad view that within this area, well, when they do show up, they will be plotted here, and we'll show you to that. But preliminary reports right now, diamond nickel size hail. There you go, getting close to an inch in size.
And most of it isn't actually. It's right there. We have I-155, I-40 that are all impacted, I-50 rain, and it's getting pretty close to I-40. Inching close on hitting the roads, lots of lightning there, as well as close to an inch. When you get closer to an inch, that's all.
Get that lightning, also quite a bit of lightning with this, and we're tracking these storms. All right, so the threat that will be the wind threat within this area. And as you look at this area, I'm going to have to point out what you're looking at. Here is Tennessee. You have to ignore these lines right here. Here's Alabama, Georgia, and you can make out South Carolina here, and there's North Carolina. So in the red area is in it for some of the potential of damaging winds. And again, right here in white, that is what damaging winds is elevated today. It's high. Part of the reason why is the way the atmosphere is setting up, okay? And you have the straight line winds associated with storms. You get up in the atmosphere, the mid-levels, you can get some dry air coming in. And what happens is that rain, as it falls and it gets to the dry air, it will evaporate some of the raindrops, and the evaporation is a cooling process. So now you're having cold air. We also know, so it will fall out of the sky, get pushed down also with the momentum of the rainfall and some of the strong winds. Damaging, and we know that falling is one of the big dangers. Tips right now with these straight line winds. Make sure you secure loose outside items, including lawn furniture. Stay away from trees and power lines. Go to the lowest level from windows. You want to treat this like a tornado warning. If there ends up being a storm warning in your area, you want to go to the center of your house away from windows because projectiles come flying through your windows. Go to the lowest level, again, away from windows. And if dry, you don't want to be under large trees. So keep it tuned here to the Weather Channel as we track that severe live, a line of rain and storms racing east, potentially causing right at the height of the evening rush hour, where the storm threat is the greatest coming up.